never a bad choice. God, I'm so excited. In 158 games with the Giants, Mike Yastrzemski has 74 extra base hits, 31 of which are home runs. You'll love to see it.
He wasn't like outstanding last year either, was he?
He wasn't as good as he's been a lot better this year, but he was one of our best players last year too. That's not saying much for the 2019 Giants though, but like he was good.
The Cubs optioned Jose Martinez again.
Again.
That's just been brutal so far, and I haven't even watched it to really have any understanding of why. But he's like 0 for 21 as a Cub.
That's rough.
I think he has like maybe the second longest hitless streak in franchise history, behind John Lester.
That's sad. Let me see it.
Okay.
Fuck.
I should be good now. Thanks, Peyton.
That's all I wanted to say. Thanks, Peyton. No, I should probably turn on the actual game, huh?
That'd be smart.
I mean, I have them side by side right now. I should probably listen to the audio for the correct game.
Oh, I don't know if I'd be able to talk about this game and have audio on for it, honestly.
I mean, the audio is not very loud.
Yeah, that's fair.
I might end up turning it off, honestly.
I don't know. They tend to talk about some funny stuff on the Cubs broadcast, so I feel like once in a while I'd get distracted by what they're saying.
I'm on the White Sox broadcast. I'll switch to the Cubs.
The broadcast that is actually that like HotMic is actually running is the marquee one.
Oh.
So yeah, Jordan doesn't really.
Oh wait, no, it is marquee is the audio.
Okay.
9.
What happens in 10 seconds?
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to sync it up, Peyton? Okay, because I can sync. I think so. Yeah. Because I can sync it up with my broadcast, but I guess if yours is like at the same point, that's fine.
See ya. Oh, it's only 2 strikes.
One.
Are we indeed live? We are indeed live. Well, welcome everyone to the Diamond Digest White Sox Cubs broadcast. This is Jordan Lazowski. Joining me, Ryan Rudy, the resident Cubs fan, myself, the resident White Sox fan,
and I'm just
and Diego Franco Carreno. He is the mediator in case we get in a fight by the 3rd inning. So we'll see what happens.
We're already bottom 2.
We're awfully close to the 3rd inning. So
yeah, we're getting close to the 3rd. Haven't had too much White Sox talk yet, or Cubs talk yet. Dealing with some technical difficulties, but again, welcome to the broadcast. Thanks for joining in. In case you're just getting caught up, Cubs are up 1-0, bottom 2, on a Kyle Schwarber home run off Dylan Cease last inning. And that's really been it. Nothing too special here, besides some fun technical difficulties.
Always a good time.
Always a good time.
Everyone's favorite.
I think the most difficult part coming in, whether you're a Cubs fan, Sox fan, usually these are fun series to play with and fun series to watch, and whether or not you consider it a rivalry is your own definition. I think it changes by the fan, but I think the biggest thing here for us is these are two teams that are coming out of real bad stretches right now.
Brutal.
White Sox,
Brutal.
yeah, White Sox got swept just over the course of this week. Going out playing Cleveland after losing 2 of 3 from Cincinnati. And the Cubs struggled against Pittsburgh. Not a team you want to struggle against, but Cubs remain in first place.
Went into the series with a magic number of like 5.
Yeah.
4-game series against the Pirates. They come out and the magic number is 3. It's a close division.
Well, the Sox had a magic number of 4, and they are now in second place in the Central. So not a good week for Chicago baseball, but at the end of the day, this is the first time since 2008. Both teams have been good. Both teams will be heading to the playoffs, no matter what you think about the extended format. And it looks that here, both teams have been good. Both teams will be heading to the playoffs. We have reached the end of the inning, so we will head to the third. Still 1-0 Cubs, and not a lot of action so far.
I think it's important to note that we do have what many would consider a Cy Young candidate on the mound for the Cubs, though.
Right.
So
I think Darvish has been pretty excellent, to be honest with you guys.
Yeah.
Darvish has been rather impressive.
And Cease certainly has the stuff to put a good start together.
Yeah, Cease has struggled mightily, to say the least. Walked 7 in his last outing against the Reds. Did not make it out of the either the 4th or the 3rd inning. It was not a good game. Sox were down early and often with that, and just not a good game for him. And I think it's been the theme for him this entire year is commanding the stuff he has, and frankly, the inability to do so far. Yeah. You see a fastball that hits 100, but at the same time, if you don't know where it's going,
not much use.
Not much use. Same thing with his curveball, same thing with his slider. A lot of good, high-quality pitches in terms of the pitch data, the pitch makeup, with not a lot of good results so far, which is frustrating.
Does have good stuff, though.
Yeah.
He's facing the epitome of good stuff tonight.
Which is part of the fun.
Yeah. Always love watching that.
I don't know about you guys, but I'll take a good pitching matchup versus like a slugfest any day.
I would agree. I'm very much someone who prefers a good pitching matchup. I think that was why, from a Sox fan perspective, looking at that Cleveland series, 3 of those 4 games were really good ball games. 3 games that you could argue the Sox should have won. At least 2 of them they should have won. And I think the frustrating thing is coming away with 2 losses in those 2 games, but they're good games. They weren't overmatched. They beat themselves, which, I mean, not an ideal situation by any means, but I mean, a lot of talk has been had, and I guess somewhat rightfully so, about the White Sox record against good teams versus beating up on the Royals and the Tigers, but at the same time, they haven't been overmatched against good teams. And I think that's been one of the keys for them, is showing that improvement in what is now year 4 of that rebuild that they went back through when Meaton, Jose Quintana, and others all left the team. But
sometimes I forget Sale was ever a White Sox. Feels like so long ago.
It does. I would agree.
When did that trade happen?
December 2016.
Yeah. Really?
Only 2016?
Yeah.
God, it feels like
same month.
So long ago.
Same month of the was that a winter meetings trade?
Yeah, the Eaton trade went down right after that one.
The Wade Davis for Jorge Soler was also the 2016 winter meetings.
That's a rough one.
That feels a little rough.
Yeah.
Honestly, not even. Like,
I guess at this point, though,
Wade Davis was good in 2017.
Yeah,
he was,
and that was a perfectly justifiable trade because you get Wade Davis, you've got a closer, and they rode to the NLCS 2017. Even I forget that sometimes they made the NLCS that year, but yeah, I mean they traded for a year of good Wade Davis, and that's exactly what they got. They knew the potential they were giving up, and honestly, Jorge Soler is, hasn't been any better of a player than Kyle Schwarber since then.
I was going to say, I don't know where he fits if you're keeping Schwarber, and I mean, until this year, there's no DH.
Exactly. I mean, he's certainly a worse defender. Schwarber's not a defensive clinic himself, but he's got a good arm. Schwarber is just not, Soler, just not great out there whatsoever. And he was injured for the better part of this year, too.
Mm-hmm.
Just came off the IL.
I do enjoy watching that Royals fan base rally around him, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's definitely it. Well, and obviously I'm biased because I get to enjoy it from both sides, but watching Soler, when the Royals were the team that had just a really diminutive team home run record. It was only 36 home runs, and then it was up to 38 by Moustakas, and that's still close to the lowest in the majors. Mm-hmm. So watching Soler both break that record handily and be the first Royal ever to lead the American League in home runs is, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's the downside of being a good team just coming off a World Series win and working through that. It's giving up what are probably going to be pretty good pieces to get pieces that fit a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you think back to those Cubs, it's not like you remember Jorge Soler as a keystone of the 2016 series team,
He's kind of there.
And I don't know exactly what contract Aroldis Chapman's on, but I Cubs were perfectly fine in not giving him that deal.
Right.
I'd agree.
I'm a couple seconds ahead of everybody, so if I react positively or negatively, you'll see why shortly.
Well,
I'll try not to say.
Now my attention is fixed.
I'll try not to say what happens. However, I'm a little bit ahead.
You mean 2 on, 1 out for the Cubs?
Yeah. Not a great changeup.
I mean,
can't make that mistake to Ian Happ.
Here's the thing, though. He's missing in the zone. He's clearly pounding the zone a little bit better.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you're asking for progress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in this game, it's certainly somewhat consequential for both teams, but at the bottom line is you're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
First time since forever.
Yeah. I think when you're looking at it from this perspective, it becomes, I don't want to say you've kind of given up on the division, but you've kind of given up. You kind of, you didn't play like they didn't play like they were playing for the division this past week in Cleveland. Some of the decisions that were made, just the general feel of how the ball club looked, I guess. If you're not playing to win the division, it's hard as a fan to get that worked up over it. The more I think about it, some of the decisions made didn't reflect a team that wanted to clinch a division. It reflected a team who wanted to get themselves ready for the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah, and also in the American League, it's like it's not necessarily like your seeding will give you a better or worse matchup. Like you could get the 7s, or you could get the 2 seed and get rewarded with the Indians, and that's hardly a reward.
Right.
That's the thing too. It's the more I saw Cleveland play, I'm like, do I really want to win the division?
Yeah.
Because if the Sox win the division, they're probably the 2 seed, and they're probably playing Cleveland.
Yeah.
I don't want any part of it. I think when you're looking at, the most dangerous teams, I think the Indians, for some reason, seem to get discounted.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because they have 5 professional hitters in their lineup, but they can they can be okay only having 4 hitters in their lineup.
They will outpitch you.
They're going to outpitch pretty much any team in baseball.
Oh yeah.
And that's after letting Kluber walk or trading Kluber and then trading Clevenger.
Yeah.
All right, that's insanely impressive to me, and I think
Bauer too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, good point. Trading Bauer too. I think that becomes, when you're looking at, what does the Central Division look like for the Sox moving forward? It's a really nice pitch. What the division looks like for the Sox moving forward, I think a lot of fans want to discount Cleveland because of their lineup.
That was a nice pitch.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a nice
Thank you
pitch.
for agreeing with me. 20 seconds later.
Yeah.
That was a big out too, because Rizzo's
that's
hitting the ball hard. He's the only one in the lineup that was really hitting the ball well in Pittsburgh.
Just kind of made him look silly there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he executed that one real well.
Yeah. Going back to like Cleveland though, like that their pitching staff is just insane. And like at least for me, like someone who doesn't pay a ton of attention to that team, when they called up McKenzie earlier this season, I had no idea who he was. Like, and he just comes to dealing. And I'm like, okay, they just know how to develop pitching, and it's extremely impressive.
Super skinny too.
Yeah. Oh, he's tiny.
Yeah.
He's like what, 175 maybe?
Can't be more than 175. Wow. But when you look at that, and then the fact that McKenzie came out of the bullpen in this recent series against the White Sox, it's a scary team. When you can run out Bieber, Plesac, games 1 and 2, and then feel pretty good about your chances to find some sort of combination that works. If you don't win both those 2 games, that's impressive.
Yeah. I just looked it up. Tristan McKenzie is 6'5", 165, according to Baseball Reference. So
this is not good. You'll see it in a second.
Yeah,
he was due for that. He was way overdue for that.
Anyone wondering, they are now at 4-0.
That's a 3-run homer for Wilson Contreras, and
Cease is
opposite field. Let's check real quick. Another consequential game for the Cubs, especially, is Cardinals Brewers, and the Cardinals have jumped to a 3-run lead in that one.
Oh,
they just got what's their magic number? Still 3?
Cubs' magic number is 3. So if the Cardinals win, then that is unchanging unless the Cubs win this game.
It's fair.
That is. I mean,
but the Cardinals have. I don't know their schedule exactly. They already played. So actually, no. Their magic. So the Cubs' magic number coming into today was 3. The Cardinals already lost earlier today to the Brewers.
So you're already.
So the magic number is 2. They're playing this game still today. They have 1 tomorrow, and then they have 2 on Sunday, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
I know they had 5 games this weekend.
Yeah,
the Cardinals and Brewers.
Crazy.
Oh,
yeah,
which is their second 5-game series in 2 weeks.
if they're able to pull it off,
days, I will have so much respect for them, and I will also be so
upset,
frustrated, annoyed.
Yeah,
especially because they didn't play particularly well against the Royals this week either.
Yeah,
the Royals took, I think, 2 out of 3 from them, unless
I
it
believe
was a 4-game set.
I mean, you're looking at a team now that just.
But the Brewers, I mean, the Reds have surged, but the Brewers have not. They've just been holding on.
Oh yeah,
the Brewers are such an interesting team to me.
I still don't know how to feel about them.
I want them to lose. I just want someone to lose. That's not the Giants.
Yeah.
You just build everything, and you get a guy like Christian Yelich, and you get a guy like Kane when he wasn't opted out.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you stopped there. I don't understand how you go get Yelich, you give up what it takes to get Yelich, and then you stop. I don't understand that.
You extend Yelich, and then they cut their payroll outside of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense in an NL Central that was wide open.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cubs made it look like they might run away with the division, and they've been middling since then. The Brewers, with one big impact addition, could be you can't overstate how much that could have helped them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, I don't know, but
this playoffs is
the
going to be
Cubs.
interesting.
the Cubs are hitting the ball very hard so far. We were not online for the first inning, but Contreras had a 108.4 exit velocity there, which turned into a double play. And
Happens.
Hayward had a 103.9 ground out. Schwarber's home run was 103.9. Contreras' home run there was 104.4.
So they've been hitting C's pretty good.
Yeah.
Epic bat flip from Wilson Contreras.
Oh yeah, I thought it was fun.
That looks like a dude who just broke out of a. I don't know how much he's slumping, but.
Well, they're all
that one
slumping,
at least
so that's a
15
fair assumption.
Yeah.
Let's check real quickly. Let's see.
That bat flip told me he's
needed
finally
that.
feeling good.
Yeah.
Can we get any stats on the bat flip?
We don't have Batcast running for this game.
And yeah, I was just gonna say, unfortunately, we couldn't get that up and running. We could barely get the stream up and running.
You're right. I'm guessing at least 15 to 20 feet.
Contreras is at an even 100 WRC plus on the year. But let's check more recently. In September, he's actually been hitting fairly well in September. August was kind of his slump month.
It's a bat flip letting him know, like, hey, we're here. I'm back.
Finally.
The Cubs have now they've hit more home runs in the entire series against Pittsburgh.
Oh wow.
They had
nice.
I want to say they had one Anthony Rizzo home run in the whole series.
That's not impressive.
Yeah, and it wasn't. It was the kind of ball that probably would have made it out in every park, but it wasn't like he killed the ball either. On that Rizzo on his home run in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's fair. These teams, they might not be playing super well now, but like you can't discount them for their playoff runs either.
That's the thing. That's exactly it. It's, and I could go on a rant about Twitter all night. It's so infuriating to me as a Sox fan, as a diehard Sox fan, as someone who's watched this team through every single part of the rebuild. That you can honestly look at this team and give me some of the takes on here that are like, oh, the Sox suck. Oh, it's all over. Come on, really?
Yeah.
You know what it looks like when the Sox suck. You just watched the last 3 years. You know what it looks like. You watched the past 12 years, honestly. You know exactly what it looks like. It's so infuriating to me. Some fan reactions.
People just want to complain.
It is that, and it makes Twitter not fun. It makes Twitter very not fun. I think. I don't know. I try not to go on Twitter rants because all it is 280 characters of nothing but problems, and nothing good ever comes out of it. And I get that, but
sometimes there are cat pictures on there.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you get a cat picture. Sometimes someone says something funny, and it makes it all worth it. But
I was on Twitter yesterday, and out of context baseball on Twitter. I think that's her title, like the name on Twitter. But she tweeted something about kind of need to pick me up, and it was just an entire thread of cat photos, and it was very, very nice to go through.
There you go.
I was a big fan.
That then, I suppose.
You don't follow Out of Context Baseball. You really should. Good account.
Yeah, good follow for sure.
And sometimes you get cat photos, so sometimes that's all you need.
Maybe I should just unfollow everybody and start just following cats.
Honestly,
maybe that's
the White Sox and cats.
This account will no longer be concerned with baseball.
No, I'm done. I'm done following baseball.
I'm out.
This is a cat account only.
Check in tomorrow. I'll be getting a cat.
It's just that's just the
infuriating rebuild. Just cats.
Selling my TV since I don't need to watch baseball anymore.
Yeah, I don't need to watch baseball.
Money to purchase a cat and all the associated things that I will need for it.
Like food.
it just gives me headaches. And I'm seeing Alexis on here saying, Jordan, you don't like cats. Yes, I don't like Twitter more than I dislike cats. So
I think cats are great. I'm a big
Sound,
You know
sounds
what?
like that's saying a lot.
Cats don't make me have to shut off my phone at the end of the night because I hate them so much. So
They make you do it because they've been looking at pictures of cats for too long.
But that'd be a better way to go to bed and lay your head on the pillow at the end of the night.
That's fair.
Meanwhile, instead of listening to me complain, the Sox finally have a runner in scoring position as Adam Engel rips a double off the wall with one out. Or excuse me, with none out.
I didn't see what pitch Darvish tried there.
I think it was a slider.
It was good
It was
contact.
something off speed. It
Yeah.
got out over the middle.
Because if you're a baseball savant reader, you might have seen the article that Darvish's fastball is finally a swing and miss pitch. And
Mhm.
He went to it on 2 strikes and Engel fouled it off.
I think that's the problem when you look at like someone like Cease too. You need a pitch that's a swing and miss pitch. And for Darvish,
Yeah.
his fastball's finally a good swing and miss.
He has 4.
Yeah, he's not at 4. And it's like when you look at Cease, it's like, all right, if he can command a few of them, that's great, but he's not commanding any of them well. So the 100-mile-an-hour fastball needs to be a swing and miss pitch. It is not.
Give him a year or two.
And it's what I'm saying. It's like, you see the reasons why. It's a high spin rate, low spin efficiency pitch.
Right, which is not ideal.
Which is,
And
he's just cutting it too much.
Yeah, that's exactly what the article on Darvish was about, was his fastball. It had good spin before, but it was gyro spin, and that doesn't give the ball life. And he's converted more of that to active spin, which is spin that actually contributes to the movement of the ball. So now it has more it looks like more upward cut to the batter.
Mhm.
And you'll see batters swinging under Darvish's fastball because of that. Whoa,
I think
weird pitch that ran in on Magical there.
Is that a
Started off.
changeup? I was going to ask. Is that a changeup? I don't know.
It looked like it.
I don't know Darvish's picks Mitch well enough to tell you.
Neither do I.
But I think that's the thing too. That's a mechanical change you make in the off season, no matter who it is.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think fans getting frustrated. Yeah, fans are going to get frustrated to start, and it goes with the expectations of what this team is and what it could be and what it should be at this point in the year, and it's development while also competing. It's a good team. I don't think they're this good over 162 game season. I wouldn't have picked them to make the playoffs this year.
In a regular playoff.
No, I would not have picked the Sox to make the playoffs. And I think you're seeing the reasons why, though.
Yeah. Do they have contracts expiring this year, or do they have pretty much everyone under contract?
Everyone, James McCann is the only one. Or right. James McCann, Edwin Encarnacion, I think Cishek as well. But they just DFA'd Cishek, so it really doesn't matter. Alex Colomé, too, I think. So, I mean,
Encarnacion hasn't done a lot this year, has he?
Encarnacion, I was worried about the move when they first made it. I just didn't like it because I thought the Sox had younger options that they should still be attempting to take a look at. Zach Collins being one of them. Once they signed him, that's fine. But then once it became a shortened season, it was a huge issue because he needs about 2 months worth of at-bats, if you look at him historically, before he starts to hit like Edwin Encarnacion.
Right.
2 months worth of at-bats is the whole season.
Yeah.
He's on a 1-year deal, you said?
Yeah, he's on a 1-year deal. Or with a team option, but I doubt they pick up his option at this point.
How much is it worth, do you know?
10, I think.
Oh, $10 million, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
You think they'll bring him back? They'll try to do it on a cheaper deal?
It depends on Andrew Vaughn, honestly.
Fair.
The reason he was signed to a 1-year deal with the club option is if Andrew Vaughn was ready to go after a year of development, then he'd be here.
Done.
Yeah, then Edwin's done. If not, if he's not ready yet and Edwin's still hitting, pick up the option, done deal. Now, with a season lost in the minor leagues, I don't know. I genuinely don't understand. I'm not sure. Don't understand. I'm not sure what they're going to do with him.
There's a lot of uncertainty.
Right. There's a lot of uncertainty. I don't know what his market will look like.
That's also fair, yeah.
There's going to be a need for a DH, but this might have really hurt him a little bit. It is not showing any real sign of.
I almost wonder if teams will be leery because there's no guarantee that the 2021 season will look entirely like normal.
Right.
It's true.
It's a good point. I mean, as much as we all make plans, it's like, oh, it's going to happen. Let's get ready for 2021. It's like,
maybe not.
Yeah, because the Sox already canceled today their fan festival that usually happens in January. That's already been canceled. So
Probably
it's like,
for the best.
Yeah, it's probably for the best, absolutely. But
for sure, yeah.
You're already seeing that, okay, enclosed spaces with a lot of people.
And, spring training only happens a month after that.
Yeah, it's 2 months after that, max. You're already, a month before the players show up. Yeah, 2 months before the games start. It's like, what's going to change in 2 months from January?
Exactly.
It's like,
yeah.
I mean, if fans aren't in the stands, this free agency period could be rough.
It's going to be really interesting to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I think any team who's got most of their players in their contract, they're going to be the ones with the upper hand.
Right.
I think. So like teams like the White Sox, like they definitely have an upper hand style season.
Yeah. Well, and the Cubs are an interesting team in that regard because they made a lot of promotions coming into 2015, and they have a lot of contracts that expire after next season.
Expiring, yeah. Now the thing is,
Chris Bryant expires after next season. John Lester, I believe, is gone after next season.
I thought John Lester this was his last year on his contract.
Might be this year. I think you're right. It's this year.
Because I remember seeing a few days ago or like a week ago.
Really quickly. Yeah. So after next year, Rizzo is a free agent after next year. Chris Bryant's a free agent after next year. Baez is a free agent after next year. Schwarber's a free agent after next year. Lester's a free agent after next year.
Okay.
And Quintana's a free agent after this year.
I honestly forgot he existed.
Yeah, I think a lot of Cubs fans would like to.
Sure.
But, yeah.
I have a feeling he's going to be pitching for the Sox next year.
You think so?
I do.
Speaking of these Sox,
I would see I could see that. For sure.
Runner at third, 2 outs, bottom 3.
Yeah, bottom of third, Moncada coming up. Man at third.
Yeah, good chance to put a run on the board here.
Start clawing back at that.
You got to at least put one on the board here. That'd be nice. Yeah. Darvish already had 44 pitches, which is all right. How long do you think is Darvish game 1 starter, or you go with Hendricks?
I don't know at this point because opening the season, Cubs committed to Hendricks as the opening day starter, and obviously he earned that. And he pitched his ass off in that game. That was a great performance. But I think after how this season has gone, I mean, Darvish, coming out of the gate, he's been slightly rocky in his last 2 starts, and that's that's where he really faded from Cy Young frontrunner is his last 2 starts. But ultimately, like every start since his very first start of the season, he's consistently, even against Cincinnati, he walked 2, gave up a homer in the first inning, and then came out and went 6 or 7 innings. I don't remember. His last start, he was a little rocky out of the gate, still made it deep into the game. Ultimately, he's been that guy that he will give you 7 quality innings no matter what. Every single start since his first start. And I think it's really difficult to argue against that,
Yeah.
I think it's hard to understate how important it will be to jump out and grab that first game of the Wild Card Series.
That's fair.
And I think Darvish, as much as any other pitcher in baseball, gives you very good confidence that you'll be in the game.
Yeah,
that's true. Just painted one on the corner against.
Yeah, I was going to say, while we're talking about him, he struck out Moncada on 3 pitches in a pretty pathetic looking at bat. I think that's why I ask. It's because his stuff is really good. I think you have 2 guys who deserve to start that first game.
Good problem to have.
And 2 guys who could easily put you in a very favorable position heading into the second game. And
it's interesting because there's a couple ways you could approach it too, and it's it I don't know if it really depends on the matchup, but you could certainly say that it might. I mean, say that the Cubs get the Cardinals as a first round matchup. One of the things the Cardinals have done really well this year, they're not a team that's battering the ball, but they take very good at bats. They have Matt Carpenter, very patient hitter, Paul Goldschmidt, very patient hitter. I mean, I just finished watching this past week. Brady Singer had a start against the Cardinals, and they both, Paul Goldschmidt and Matt Carpenter, in the first inning, worked full counts and took walks off Brady Singer with 2 outs. So you go from the ability to get out of the inning, giving up a walk or 2, or giving up none or 1 walks and you're out of the inning, to Brady Singer throws 30 pitches in the first inning and they've rattled him for the game. And it wasn't a great start of his. And so Darvish, the walk issues haven't been there. They were certainly a concern in his first couple years with the Cubs. And it hasn't gotten to him this year. Like I said, outside of his first start, he's been able to get himself back on track, figure out what he's working with, and throw really good starts. But Hendricks has by far the lowest, maybe not by far, I don't really know, but he has the lowest walk rate in the majors. So if you're facing a team like the Cardinals, where they're really patient hitters that are going to take their walks, Hendricks has the ability to stay in the strike zone, know where he's putting his pitch, and not walk those guys. And so he might be more consistent in that regard. And, the other thing that you don't necessarily want to count on per se, but Hendricks has just pitched really well against the Cardinals historically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes zonage is zonage.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to say for sure. But that's also a problem that I personally like to have.
It's a good problem.
Now, I have 2 other questions about the
Christian
Cubs.
says Darvish for Cy Young. I agree.
Oh, God. Did he put another one out?
He does not deserve,
upset.
he doesn't deserve to win it right now. He's top 3. Ooh.
Yeah, what Laz was referring to a second ago was just the moonshot by Javier Baez.
If you're gonna, honestly, props to you if you're gonna turn on 99 like that. I don't care how inefficient the spin is. You're gonna turn on 99 like that. That's impressive.
Yeah.
How far do you think that went?
They projected it at 425, I think.
That sounds about right.
That's not a cheap shot.
No. Who was it earlier? Was it Acuna earlier who hit the absolute bomb?
495, I think.
Yeah, he had a 495 earlier.
I didn't get a chance to see that, but
I'm guessing it was Peter that tweeted that off our account.
I don't remember.
He said he boops Austin.
I did see that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I was taking a physics test, or else I would have been watching that game probably.
All right, I have 2 other questions about the Cubs because I don't want to talk about the Sox right now because this is depressing me. Game 3 starter, if you need one, who do you go to? I think that's a little bit harder of a question. I think the easy answer is Lester, but I don't think that's necessarily the right answer.
It's
tough.
So I don't know Chatwood's status. I'll come out and say that for sure. But I think you're right. I think the easy answer is you have a guy that has as good a track record as any pitcher in baseball right now.
Yeah.
Lester has been there over and over again. He has 2 World Series titles under his belt. He's pitched in the postseason so much. At the very least, it's not going to get to his head that he's pitching a big game.
Yeah.
But
that's fair.
Chatwood was as tantalizing as he could possibly be in 2 starts, at least to open the year. And it's hard to really say he made 2 good starts, so he's good now. But those were by far the 2 best starts he made as a Cub and 2 of the best starts of his career. And he didn't have a bad career before coming to the Cubs. So I think if the Cubs, if Chatwood's there and the Cubs really have faith that Chatwood's there, then that's the right decision, because Chatwood would have more stuff than Lester at this point. And I don't know. But Leicester is definitely the safe option.
Yeah.
And I think if the Cubs say, "Hey, we're going into elimination postseason game and we're going to give the ball to Tyler Chatwood," that may not rest well with the fans.
Yeah.
Now,
not that that's your primary consideration, but that would make everyone a little uneasy for sure. And
Fair.
it's possible that might make Tyler Chatwood a little uneasy.
Lester's done it before.
About to see a great play by Tim Anderson, by the way.
That is a great play.
Wow. Yeah, excellent catch he just made.
So my follow-up question to that is, let's say, all right, pick Darvish or Hendricks for game one. That's fine. You can pick whichever one there. Say the Cubs win game one. Do you throw Lester game two, hope he finds a way to win, and because with no off days, you start
Darvish game one of the following
Darvish
series.
game one or other pitcher game one of the division series?
Fair question.
That's a good question.
The reason I asked that for the Cubs, and I would not ask that about the Sox, is I don't trust whoever the game 2-3 starter would be. It's either going to be Cease, Lopez, Dunning, and I don't trust any of them enough in a game 2 game to say I can just throw them out there and feel comfortable about winning the game. Lester or Chatwood, whoever you want to put out there, I feel like you could more easily make the argument that they're probably going to give me a good game.
Especially Lester.
That's a good question. Well, so if we broaden our horizons a little bit, you got Darvish, you got Hendricks. Outside of those two, the Cubs really have 4 starter options. And if you're looking at some teams, you could say, well, they could throw an opener. Cubs haven't done that yet, and I don't think they're going to try it for the first time in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So you've got really 4 options you could throw out, which is Chatwood, assuming full health. And it's also possible, I don't remember for sure, but it's also possible that I want to say Chatwood had a setback in his most recent recovery, so he may not be available. But
which would be a problem.
It looks like, that could be problematic. But that narrows it down to if Chatwood's not an option, you've got Lester, Quintana, and Alec Mills. And I think pretty much no matter what, Alec Mills is going to be in the bullpen in the playoffs. And he's a guy for sure you can stretch out if you need it.
Yeah.
Regardless of when. But I don't think they're going to throw him out there to start a game. And I think he just showed why against the Pirates. He did not have a great start in his most recent outing.
But he has a no-hitter.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing. And he's as reliable, especially for getting a lot of outs and getting some volume in a game. He's as reliable as most bullpen options they have.
Sure.
Several guys they have go 1 inning, but Mills is a guy you can stretch out. So really it comes down to Lester and Quintana if Chatwood isn't healthy. And one thing that I think is important to note there is also you've got Darvish and Hendricks are both right-handed starters, so I think they might lean towards Lester or Quintana regardless, to get a left-handed pitcher out there.
Interesting.
Now, with regards to when they throw them, game 2 or game 3, that's honestly something that I hadn't really considered. And it's an interesting thing to think about, because it's like, it's not like throwing either of them out there is conceding that you're giving up. But
all right, that's what I'm saying. It's like those are
quality arms.
Yeah. I'd feel comfortable running them out there with the lead in the series.
This is the best problem to have.
Right.
Well, and so the other thing is they could approach it like they approached. There was one of the games in the Pittsburgh series. I don't remember which one, but they threw Quintana out there to start the game. He pitches 2 innings, and they bring in Adbert Alzolay, and he might be, no pun intended, but he might be a wild card of some sorts for the pitching strategy of the Cubs.
I hated
That could come into play more than we realize, because he came out against the Pirates really looking good. I think he threw like 4 innings in that game, and he really looked good, like someone that the Cubs could really rely on, kind of carry them over, especially in a series that's only 3 games.
Right.
So, I don't know. I don't know how you attack a 3-game series like that, because it's hard to say what you would do with game 2. And, especially if you throw Darvish or Hendricks out there in game 1 and you come out of that game with a loss, which is entirely possible.
Mm-hmm.
In 2 days ago against the Pirates, Hendricks gave up 2 runs in the first inning and then was great the rest of the way, and Cubs lose 2-1.
Yeah.
So it's not out of the question, especially with how the offense has looked recently, that you throw one of those guys and come out of the game with a loss.
That's fair.
And at that point, it doesn't matter who you throw game 2.
Yeah, that's fair.
But, it's looking like the Cubs are going to have home field advantage, at least,
right,
which is a benefit. And another thing about Hendricks, I talked about how you don't necessarily want to say he always beats the Cardinals. And you also don't want to rely on the fact that he always pitches well at Wrigley Field, but he has pitched really, really well at Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
It's definitely something to think about.
You play the numbers.
Exactly.
Analytics.
So it's hard to know. It's hard to know the pitching strategy. I guess I can say that I'm glad I'm not the one that's making that decision, but
sure.
I think it's also you can't necessarily go wrong, and there's a lot of numbers and results that indicate that it's probably going to go in your favor, pitching wise. So yeah, I really think that's what it boils down to.
And I know we were mentioning Darvish's walks earlier. I mean, he just walks Grandal to lead off the inning here.
Grandal's been a fun name for White Sox Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, Madrigal worked a full count off Darvish earlier too. They've certainly worked him. I mean, he's got no outs in the 4th, and he's at 54 pitches.
Oh yeah, they're definitely not sitting down.
Yeah.
With Grandal, though, it's been funny to me to see. This is a consensus top 2-3 catcher in baseball.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think there's much debate around that unless you're talking to certain people on Twitter.
Unless you're talking to Yankees fans.
Unless you're talking to Yankees fans. That's another point. I think my frustration with that has been how many people wanted to see McCann over Grandal. And
really?
Yeah.
Well, he's at least improved his framing this year, right?
Right, he's improved his. He's a typical player that the longer you throw him out there, the more you expose him, and the less he provides that value. He's a great bench player. He's going to get himself a starting job somewhere next year because of how well he's played.
Oh yeah.
But you signed the $73 million guy who's really good at baseball, and you'd prefer to see McCann over him. I don't get it. Again, that's just one of my personal beefs with.
You think there will be some? You think there will be some intrigue in the free agent market for J.T. Realmuto because McCann's also out there?
I think. See, that's an interesting question because that could do one of two things: either drives prices up or down. I think.
Yeah.
I honestly think teams are going to see through on McCann. I think they're going to see him for what he is. He's an improved pitch framer. He's had a great one. He's an improved one.
Not the worst in the league.
He's not the worst in the league. He's an incredibly good game caller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's something that analytically isn't valued, but something I think if you watch pitchers and watch teams against Grandal when he's catching, he's a really good game caller. But I said Grandal. I meant McCann.
Wicked slider.
Yes, Darvish snaps off a wicked slider. But I think the more you expose him to good pitching, the more he shows that he's a good role player. He's not a good starter. He's going to get himself a starter job. And that was a nice backdoor slider.
Yeah. I would love to see McCann go somewhere like Cleveland, just for the fact that like him with that staff they have there.
Oh, that was nasty.
Yeah, it was a nice backdoor slider.
Encarnacion.
He
But
doesn't
yeah,
like it.
like
Not a fan.
having
Yeah.
Can with the staff that Cleveland does, that would be kind of scary to see, have them develop those pitches and those game calling skills for who they have starting in Cleveland to catcher? Gomes? Perez.
Yeah, Roberto Perez.
Well, I mean, he doesn't stand out any more offensively.
No.
Yeah, he was pretty good last year actually, but I don't know that he's necessarily backed it up this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that last pitch from Darvish real quick is just real tough for Encarnacion because he missed his spot and Caratini framed it pretty poorly.
Yeah.
But that was a strike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have a problem with that call. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're seeing the frustration start to boil over for a lot of these Sox hitters.
Yeah.
So we're on a 5-game losing streak. We can't hit the ball worth nothing right now.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said for Encarnacion as the guy that's been there to just say to the umpire, hey, and I don't know that there's been an egregious call against the White Sox, but from what I've heard, there certainly have been some in recent
There's been some rough games. I'll say that.
Better days are ahead.
You start to see the same crews, and you're like, oh, I wonder why I'm getting so frustrated with. Like, I've been far more frustrated with the umpiring this year than other years. You're seeing the same crews.
Yeah.
That's part of the problem.
So, Encarnacion is the guy that's been there. I don't have a problem with him just saying to the umpire, what was up with that? Make sure you're keeping yourself, paying attention to what's going on.
Stop with the zone up.
Yeah. As another nice inning for Darvish ends with nothing.
Yeah, well, especially against a guy like Darvish, where it's like, a couple calls in his favor.
It's like the dude doesn't need help.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, maybe like pre All-Star break last year, Darvish, a couple calls in his favor or against his favor decided to start.
Yeah.
Now that's not the case so much, but.
Real quick as we go commercial, if anyone in chat has questions, feel free to drop them. We have plenty of time, and it's not exactly a nail-biter game to talk about right now.
Not yet.
Not yet. I'm hoping that I'm hoping they can get some runs off the bullpen.
They definitely have the guys to do it.
Yeah, I maybe I'm a bad Cubs fan. I haven't been watching the last couple days, so I don't know who is available out of the bullpen. I think the loss on a walk-off home run to Jacob Stallings was a little demoralizing.
That'll hurt.
Days after that one.
That'll hurt.
In case anyone's also like keeping up with other playoff stuff, the Giants and Padres right now are seventh inning of a first game of a doubleheader. It's currently 5-4 Giants, 2 outs, runner on first.
Oh wow, they still have another game to go tonight.
Yeah, they do.
That's brutal. Well, I guess it's actually not a night over there. Yeah.
It was.
It's
it was 5-1.
Yeah.
It was 5-1 at the start of the inning.
And the Pirates are currently beating the Indians. Pirates just feel like playing spoiler at the end of the season, apparently.
Honestly, good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was, they had good starts from a lot of their guys. I mean, Stephen Brault had a good start against the Cubs. Chad Kuhl had a nice start. At the very least, it's nice to see some good outings from the pitchers. It wasn't particularly nice as the victims, but
I don't know. You always got to have a little bit of fun, a little bit of spoilers. Yeah. Especially when you can make an entire season of it like the Giants kind of have.
Keep things interesting. Yeah.
I'm going to talk about them as much as I can.
So if you are one for Baseball Savant, Dylan Cease has allowed
a lot of hard hit contact.
9 hard hit balls so far.
Yikes.
And, several of them have gone for outs. couple ground outs, a line out, a double play off of it. But at the same time, that will pretty much always result in a couple home runs, and
It's not
that
exactly
has
what you
gotten us to where we currently are.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I've seen much worse games
Sox math.
from Cease. Yeah, I didn't play Sox. I haven't played Sox math in a very long time.
I don't watch Sox broadcasts. I love math.
So
Big fan. As you can see by the background I have here, the
What they-
tapestry that I own.
what they do with those is like, if you win, you get to make like the intro video to Sox math the next day,
Okay.
which it takes a lot of creativity, and
That's
that's why it's like I don't play. I'm like, because the one time I won, I made a video and it was fine. I'm like, it took a lot of creativity to figure out what I was going to do for that. I can't imagine doing another one.
Should have just
Jordan
worn
is
some
suffering.
digest merch and just done it.
Exactly.
Jordan is suffering from success, ladies and gentlemen.
You know,
He's too good
I do
for
love
Sox, man.
I do love Sox math though. That's been a cool thing Jason has added.
I just love math.
So with Cease though, when you're throwing 100, you're going to give up a lot of hard contact.
Right.
I think the problem still remains. It's a flat 100, not a flat 100.
It's not a ton of actual.
Oh no, and it's it's exactly what I was talking about earlier with Darvish. Even if there's spin on the ball, it's not necessarily good spin.
Right.
And so yeah, if he can get good spin on a 100-mile-per-hour fastball, watch out.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you've seen it where it's like you'll see videos where, again, I'm no major league pitching coordinator or major league pitcher. You can see how he's holding the ball where you can understand why there's cut on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like someone just got to sit him down, watch some video, and be like, "Listen, dude, we got to change this up. We're gonna sit in the pitching lab all off season, and we're gonna figure this out."
Yeah.
Because if you can throw it 100, we just got to teach you to spin it a little bit.
He's made Rizzo look pretty silly on 2 pitches here.
Yeah.
He's snapping off good off speed tonight.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Which is, I mean, a good thing.
That
Again,
had some bite on it.
Oh yeah.
this hasn't been a terrible start. Sox fans are going to be like, he gave up 5 runs.
It's not always about the runs.
It's not always about the runs.
His stuff has looked pretty decent. Like it's getting movement.
His curveball is pretty snappy.
It's like if you're going to pin any hopes on this kid moving forward, you need to see some sort of progress game over game, even if it's not as much as you would like it to be.
He hasn't given up 7 walks.
Yeah, he's not walking anybody today.
And he's
That's
got
true.
like 1, maybe 2.
Yeah, well, he's got.
Shots.
I mean, he's got 5 runs on 4 hits, so that's a solo home run, a walk, a single, a 3-run home run, and then a solo home run, and now 1 more single.
Yeah.
So it's 1 or 2 walks, 1 hit by pitch, couple singles, and then the 3 home runs.
Yeah.
But it's not like the Cubs are just lacing doubles.
Yeah, it's not. Excuse me. It's not like a ton of like I said earlier. He's pitching well. He's getting good movement, and honestly, how old is he, Laz?
24. He hasn't even made. See, that's the other thing that bothers me about a lot of people. He hasn't even made a full season's worth of starts in major leagues. This is his 26th start. Like, yeah, he's been here for 2 years. If you want to say it's been 2 years.
Year and a half.
Year and a half, really. Maybe not even that. He hasn't even made a full season's worth of starts.
Yeah.
Even though he's been here for the course of 2 years.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know.
I'll say this: if White Sox fans don't want him, Giants fans will take him.
I have a feeling that the Sox will end up using him as trade bait this offseason to get a right fielder.
Giants don't have that, but like
Giants don't have that.
we're not getting enough like Ramos or anything.
He's completely forgot about Rizzo.
Yeah.
I mean,
Rizzo's kind of funny like that. He'll do that when you're not expecting it. He'll take
He's a good base runner. You don't got to be fast to be a good base runner.
Guy's smart.
And he's got. Let me check real quick on his.
He got him too
stolen
there.
base rate. Yeah, it was pretty close. Good throw by Grandal.
Yeah. While Ryan checks that, some around the league stuff. The Giants won that game against the Padres, first game of the doubleheader. Rays and Phillies about to head to the ninth. Rays up 6-4 in that game. Marlins Yankees tied at 3, bottom of the eighth. Probably going to be heading to the ninth there soon. Red Sox are currently ahead of the Braves, so that's a fun one. And Rangers Astros tied at 2. Twins Reds. Reds are up 2-1. That's really it for the real important games. I think Cardinals are up 5-0 right now.
Oof.
Yeah, so those are a lot of like the
Yeah.
bigger games, more important games,
Yeah,
keeping
okay.
up with
So-
this postseason stuff.
Rizzo hasn't exactly been there's never been a season where he has a great stolen base rate, but he gives it a shot once in a while, and it is what it is, I guess.
So
Yeah.
sitting in the top of the fifth, Cease just walked to second batter of the game and is pulled at 84 pitches. So his night is over. Gio Gonzalez will come into the game.
Oh, they have Gonzalez coming out of the bullpen now. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. I'll tell you, this is not how I want this game to go. Yeah. This is not how I want it to go.
Yeah, even on the other side of the ball, I think we will definitely see the Cubs bullpen tonight. The Cubs have no reason to push Darvish past 6 innings, especially when they were working his pitch count pretty early.
Right.
More than anyone else, he's their most important player right now.
Yeah.
You can't overstate that. So
I think if you really want to pitch in game 1, 2, I'd probably pull him.
Yeah.
I mean, what's he at? 60 pitches? I'd probably pull him now. I'm gonna be honest, this game's probably over.
Love the confidence.
I don't know.
I haven't seen the Sox doing too much today. The at-bats have been all right, not great. I just think this is one of those stretches where nothing looks fantastic right now. And if you're thinking about game 1 of the playoffs and you want Darvish to be there, which based on how he looks right now, I'd probably want him there.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got a couple of questions, things in the chat. While we're going through a pitching change, do you think Juan Soto has a prayer in the NL MVP race?
That's a good question.
It is a good question because he's going insane. Absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm.
In what, like 2/3 of he's got 44 games played. So by the end of the season, he'll be roughly 10 games short of other competitors, which normal season, that's not much. You can win an MVP 10 games short, but now that's 1/6 of your season.
Yeah.
So currently, Juan Soto is walking more than he strikes out.
Which
has
is insane.
A 361 BABIP, which leads him to a slash line of 351, 487, 703.
Jesus.
That's
good for
that's
a lot.
That's good for an OPS of 1190 and a WRC plus of 201.
Damn.
So he is.
I don't care how many games you miss.
Over twice as valuable.
Numbers.
Over twice as valuable as an league average player.
What's his WAR at?
2.2, and that's with negative 5.1 defensive value.
Wow,
where does 2.2 fall amongst NL leaders?
Let me take a quick.
Very
look.
Comparable.
So, I was gonna say, if that's comparable, I'm done giving a number of games.
I want to say that's like probably top 6.
Let me league. Oh no, I want NL. I picked the wrong league on my leaderboard here. Okay, so National League leaderboards, right?
Yep.
So we've got Freddie Freeman is almost a win above Soto. He's at 3.1, and he's the leader. Juan Soto is currently 10th in the National League in Fangraphs wins above replacement.
What's that top 10 look like?
Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Tatis, Machado, Story, Trey Turner, Acuna, Yaz, Corey Seager, Juan Soto.
I just knew Yaz was in there. I wanted you to mention.
Dear God Almighty, this team is just.
Is Gio Gonzalez about to get up home run?
No.
In,
But I'm gonna.
That's
I'm about to stay off Twitter for a little bit.
You want me to go on the Sox Twitter for you?
No, you don't want that. Oh, looks like he got crossed up.
in straight offensive value, Juan Soto is second in the National League.
That's incredible.
And he's one of 3 players in the top 10 that does not have 200 plate appearances.
Yikes. That's crazy.
He had, yeah. I would be surprised if he does not have the highest walk rate. He's tied with Bryce Harper for the highest walk rate in the National League, which is borderline poetic.
No, that is poetic. I don't know about borderline. That's straight up poetry in motion.
You know,
I just have a hard time not giving it to someone
because of games played.
Yeah, because in a shortened season, when you're still putting up comparable stats in a shortened season. I mean, in terms of WAR being one of them.
Well, right. And voters are going to also take into account that his team is not in the postseason.
Terrible. Yeah.
Really pretty bad. And they have Nationals have 2 of the top 10 position players by wins above replacement, and they're out of the postseason. And they also have Max Scherzer and Patrick Corbin in their rotation.
Yeah.
But Juan Soto and Trey Turner also have 2 of the highest 10 BABIPs in the National League. Not that matters to MVP voting, but that is interesting. But yeah, I mean, I think there's no way he doesn't have a chance right now. I mean, what he does well is crush the ball and take walks, and he's doing that better than anyone this year.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, Freddie Freeman's certainly been on a tear, and he's also on the team that's winning that NL East division.
Right.
Betts and the Dodgers are doing really well. Tatis and Machado obviously have been super important to the Padres, surging a lot more than we expected.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize Trevor Story is playing so well. He's just kind of an animal on defense, it looks like.
The NL West has produced a lot of baseball this season.
Yeah. I wonder if Trevor Story gets traded on the horizon.
That would be interesting.
It would be. Kind of going back to the Juan Soto for MVP, I think he should definitely be considered. Absolutely should be considered.
No.
Will he? But the way voting has gone in the past, probably not. And it's going to be all because of that 10 games short.
Which is stupid.
I think he'll be a top 10 finish. But
oh, yeah. I would say he should be a top 3 finish.
Yeah.
But I don't think he will be based on how voters vote, which is a shame. Maybe they'll surprise us this year. And it's they'll recognize season's weird. Soto's been incredible. Let's do it.
Well, so who ahead of him is really going to get votes? Because I don't know. Freeman is a bit ahead of the field in terms of wins above replacement, and just generally how he's been playing. But I don't know if there's necessarily a player in the field who draws tons of votes.
Yeah, that's also fair. Because you've had those, throughout the first, 3-4 weeks of the season, everyone's oh, yeah, it's going to be Tatis, and there's nothing's going to stop that. But, not that Tatis has been bad or anything, but he's definitely slowed down.
Yeah. Ian Happ was looking really good, and he's been pretty cold recently.
Yaz was looking good after a week.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about Trent Grisham, and half his value has come from defense. He's not going to win an MVP on defense.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think Soto should win it. I'd like to see him win it, but
Robert has a hit.
So Robert's about to get a hit.
Spoiler.
They might give an error to Rizzo. I don't know.
Robert's on base.
Robert's on base for the first time in a long time.
How hard did he hit that? It looked pretty well struck.
Mhm.
Wait for baseball savant to refresh.
That's all
I'm
you
so
need.
I'm so inconvenienced that I have to wait a whole half a minute to get exit velocities on that.
Boo. Who wants to wait that long?
I know.
Also, Rays
Terrible.
Phillies just went final. Rays win that game 6-4.
Really, really tough stretch for the Phillies, man.
Want to guess what did them in?
The
Their
bullpen.
Yeah,
God, I'm good at this game.
they gave up two runs in the eighth.
That's
Four
gotta be
point
Well,
good.
yeah. Well, if you're the Phillies, you can't give a tie game to your bullpen. That's not fair to them.
You're right. Yeah, Phillies now sitting at 28-30.
Jeez, that's brutal.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain.
98.2 on the exit velocity from Robert there.
Give him a base hit.
Yeah, he didn't, obviously didn't tear the cover off the ball,
And
but that's
focus.
well struck.
It's not a cheap shot.
This is a disappointing stretch for the Sox.
Hope they just rebound in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's like you just need that one win to get you off the schneid, honestly. It's 5-game losing streak currently.
No, and honestly, that's what I'm kind of thinking. Like, I wouldn't mind at all if this series feels like a pretty even split between the teams.
They both kind of need it.
Yeah, they do.
They both need a good win. This is a win where a couple Cubs break out, hit some homers. I mean, you see Contreras, the way he acted. It's like, that's a dude who's probably been slumping. Or just, man, that felt good to finally square up a baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Schwarber needed his too, man.
Schwarber got
under
his
200
too.
this year.
Oh, my question I was going to ask earlier that I forgot to.
Sure.
Do you think the Cubs trade Chris Bryant this offseason?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I also don't know if they're going to get the value they would want to. It's almost like,
yeah.
I mean, let's be clear. No value is going to be, or some value is going to be better than no value if you let him walk in free agency. Because I think, and Ryan, I'll shut up and let you talk, but I'll say my 2 cents first. Yeah. I think some value is better than no value. I don't think the Cubs will re-sign him after 2021. But at the same time, if you want to do like one last ride with the band type thing, you always want to keep him.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just tough to say for these Cubs as it is for any team, and it might depend on what happens for the rest.
Mm-hmm.
But 2020 Chris Bryant has not at all been 2016, 2017 Chris Bryant.
Yeah.
And to your point, they're not going to get the value they would have gotten for 2016, 2017 Chris Bryant. And, I certainly don't know the industry well enough to say what value they'll get for this Chris Bryant. Teams see in him right now that makes them say, yes, we believe we will get back the Chris Bryant that won an MVP.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a good point.
In that regard, it almost might be a repeat of the situation with Kyle Schwarber around 2016, 2017, 2018, where the Cubs never pulled the trigger on a Kyle Schwarber trade, despite rumors, because everyone always said the Cubs valued Schwarber more excuse me, more highly than other teams valued Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I personally foresee any other team seeing more value in Chris Bryant right now than the Cubs do, because I don't know what team. I don't know. It's interesting. Like even as recently as last season, he came out, and when he was healthy, there was a 1 month stretch where he was healthy, and he showed the same player that he had been. But at some point, you have to stop asking the question of when's he going to be healthy.
Right.
It's a big risk.
Yeah. I mean, so say you do trade Chris Bryant. At this point, obviously after 2021, it's going to take too much for the Cubs to keep the roster they've got around now for it to be worth it.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
haven't converted the last 3 years. And with with pretty much all of their core that has been the most valuable in recent years being just not there this year,
Mhm.
it's difficult to look at 2021 and say we're going to win it all regardless of what Chris Bryant does.
Sure.
You need value out of your third baseman or whatever he's playing. Is he still playing at third base?
Yeah, and he's been a good defensive third baseman here.
Given the circumstances.
In the whatever you can get out of the Chris Bryant versus Nolan Arenado, it's always been that Arenado has better defense, but Bryant has been a very good defender this year.
Yeah. Arenado is just like a really good defender.
It comes down to what the Cubs want to get out of next season. And, obviously for this year, they've gone all in saying we want to capitalize on this core and win a championship.
Yeah.
Well, after this year, they start losing guys. I mean, they lose Quintana. And if you don't replace Quintana, that leaves you with a rotation that is very top heavy and very much at risk to being quite shallow if you lose one guy to an injury. And you're throwing out Lester once every 5 starts, who is not a guarantee to give you a good start anymore.
It's fair.
I don't know.
That's fair.
I think there's a lot that goes into it, and it makes it really difficult to think about.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you get to a certain point where if you're another team, you're still trading for Chris Bryant.
Right.
Like that is Chris Bryant. And he is a legit guy who is potentially one mental adjustment, something away from still being Chris Bryant.
Yeah.
So the Cubs are going to get offers for him for sure. He's the guy. If you look at the Cubs roster, it's like, yeah, we'd love to have him for a year if we can get back what he was. And I think teams will be willing to give up a decent amount for the chance. I mean,
what do you think
he's
it
in his
takes?
last. That's also a good question. I mean, obviously, it's going to take a guy that the Cubs front office legitimately believes will be a major leaguer in the future. They're not just going to take a couple lottery tickets.
Yeah.
It's going to have to materialize before we have a good idea of whether a trade of Chris Bryant is likely. Because before this season, it was pretty clear that if they wanted to go for it, they needed Chris Bryant. But that was before we saw what he is this year.
Yeah. That's fair. That's why I say it kind of killed his value a little bit this year.
Yeah.
It did, and it's hard to watch. And it's also hard to know. I mean, in all the time that he's legitimately been healthy in his major league career, he's been a stud. And you have no idea what results from this season mean.
Yeah.
It certainly sounds like, and it's entirely fair to interpret this as Cubs fans, Javier Baez making excuses, but it certainly sounds like video replays in game were a very important part of how the Cubs worked. And Baez went public with the complaints about the fact that the fallout of the Astros deal was that you couldn't use video in game anymore, and that has certainly impacted him negatively.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to know how much how the impact that's had on everyone else, but it certainly could be a thing with Chris Bryant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For God's sake, this team is.
Is Schwarber about to go yard again?
No, I honestly would have almost preferred him to go yard. Debating here if I would have preferred to see him go yard.
Very rough defensive play by the White Sox.
What kind of move into first was that by Schwarber?
It's called interpretive sliding. Okay.
He kind of slid into first and popped up.
It's an interpretive slide.
That was funny. I really enjoyed watching that.
Gonzalez got beat to the bag.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Did he? Man, that was a goofy play all around. Was he just slow off the mound? I didn't see.
Yeah, he looked real slow off the mound.
It's a rough defensive play for the White Sox.
Yeah, it's hard
Schwarber's now
getting
out of the game.
Yeah, Billy Hamilton on base for the Cubs. Not something I thought I'd be saying this year.
He started with the Giants this year, and the Giants were able to trade him away. And hasn't he been like not very good for the Mets and the Cubs and?
No, he hasn't.
I'd say the Giants won that trade.
He's still on the roster because he's faster than Jose Martinez.
That's fair. Is he
Yeah.
all that fast anymore though? Like,
he's not that old. He's not as old as you'd think. He's like 30 or 31 at the
I think
oldest.
I don't think he's not that old, but he's also like, at least every time I've seen him attempt to steal, I don't think I've actually seen him successfully steal a base.
30 years old.
Really?
Yeah,
I sound
he's
like,
played for. He's 30. Yeah.
When did he break into the league?
2013.
Wow.
Since he left the Reds at the end of 2018, he's played for 5 MLB teams in the last 2 years.
Wow.
That's rough.
Started with the Royals. They DFA'd him, signed with the Braves for the end of last year. Started with the Giants, traded to the Mets, DFA'd, signed by the Cubs, and here he is.
Fair enough. Whatever happened, do you guys remember, who was it, Terrence Gore?
Terrence Gore, yeah, he's with the Yankees now, I believe.
Is he?
Yeah.
I thought he was with the Dodgers.
I'll check.
I might be thinking of someone
He hasn't
else.
bounced around that much.
No, I just remember him also being a speedster.
Well, he did make the Oh, he is. You're right. He's with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I was incorrect.
Wonder where they sit at sprint speed.
Who
He
is
was
this?
with the Yankees. The Royals. Either the Royals. He was with the Yankees last year, but he never cracked the majors with them. Yeah, he was on the Royals. All these guys were with the Royals at some point. That's kind of funny to me.
The Royals, I mean, remember
Kind of
they
makes
were
sense.
Terrence
the
Gore,
speed.
Rod Dyson, Billy Hamilton. Yeah, he actually was not bad with the Royals last year, but that's probably small sample size luck more than anything. His average exit velocity last year was 83.5.
Who are you talking about?
Terrence Gore.
Terrence Gore. What's his sprint speed?
That's a good question. I don't
I just
know
looked
if he has enough competitive runs to qualify.
Oh, I just want to know what he does have. Like, this is my question.
He's so fast.
Oh yeah. So is Hamilton's like, for all you baseball savant people, I forgot how Ryan said it earlier like 4 times, but 88th percentile in sprint speed for Hamilton. Oh yikes!
Oh, wow.
I'm not
Yeah.
happy.
Caratini needed that one too.
Goes yard, 2-run home run off of
Gore-
Gio Gonzalez. Now it's
Gore
7-0 game.
is 99th percentile in sprint speed. Terrence Gore.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not
Let's see if he
doing
shows
okay.
up on the leaderboard.
It's okay,
Sorry,
lads. You've been used to this for years.
Let's see. So we're looking
I'm not
for
okay.
Lads, not okay.
I'm not doing good.
sprint speed.
I
Yeah, Terrence
Well,
Gore
just
does
look up some pictures of cats
not.
real quick.
just wanted a good game. I didn't even need him to win. I needed a good game. This
Hey,
is
I mean, there's still
disgusting.
3 innings.
There's still 3 innings.
Tim LeCastro is so fast.
He is.
Terrence Gore does not have enough competitive runs to qualify. Minimum
I'm not-
opportunity. If we change minimum opportunities to 5, he still doesn't show up. Minimum. He has not taken 5 plate appearances this year. He has 0 plate appearances this year.
Yeah,
He has
I think
appeared in
he's
2 games.
exclusively pinch running defense.
Okay,
Yeah.
so minimum opportunities 0. He's not there. Oh
That's
man.
kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, because
Um,
I remember I was writing an article, which hasn't been published yet because I haven't finished it, about like basically if you're to make an NFL team out of baseball players and like doing research for that article, like LeCastro is scary fast.
mhm.
Like, and I would have known that if it wasn't for Foolish Baseball, like on Twitter, YouTube, like
And it's kind of lost on a Diamondbacks team that hasn't done much this year.
oh yeah, it's kind of I don't know. It's fun. It's a fun stat. Just like Tim LeCastro,
Yeah.
no one knows who he is. Like for the most part, he's not a big name.
But he's
True.
so fast.
Oh
But
yeah,
he's the kind of guy that gets a job in a year like this with the extra inning rule.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I remember when they announced the extra inning rule, everyone thought like Billy Hamilton's going to be so much more valuable now.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was with the Giants, and the Giants just didn't even roster him from the beginning of the season. Like, or not? I don't think they did. They could have. I don't remember him actually doing much
Yeah.
at the beginning of that season, and then they just trade him away. It's like someone else can do something with him, and then he really just hasn't been super like valuable to like any of these 3 teams this year.
Yeah. So if you guys want to do a little guessing game real quickly,
Tim
there
LeCastro,
is-
Always.
no.
Jonas
Billy
Cespedes.
Billy Hamilton is not currently according to Baseball Savant, Billy Hamilton is not currently the fastest runner on the Cubs.
Javier Baez.
Nope.
It's Bodie.
I'm gonna guess Horner.
You're correct.
Uh,
Currently at bat.
I was gonna say it's because he's that bad. I'm like, I'll go with Horner.
okay.
No,
Okay.
it wasn't because he was at bat. I noticed it, and then I came back. I was like, "Wow, he is even at bat right now. Like this is perfect." But yeah, I did not think that Horner was that fast. His sprint
Horner's a
speed-
good little ball player.
yeah.
I like him a lot.
He I don't know if I think that he should be with the team right now. Honestly,
Interesting.
I mean,
I mean,
Is Kipnis playing that well?
no, but I like. It's pretty clear that he just wasn't quite ready. Honestly.
That's fair.
That is fair.
And you know, if you're looking like coming into this year, talking about next year, there's certainly been talk of the Cubs kind of taking an off year and retooling themselves a little bit to come
Mhm.
back. And if that's really what we're looking for, this wasn't the time to bring up Horner
Right.
because he had the potential to be a lot more than what he currently is to the Cubs if he
Yeah.
developed a little bit better. And right now, you know, he's got good defense, he's got good sprint speed, and he's got a slugging percentage lower than his on base percentage.
That's impressive almost.
And his on base percentage is 310.
Ooh.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
So, like, really, he needed.
Yikes.
I mean, his
needed more
walk rate, his walk rate's 8.5%. He just needed more time. You
Yeah.
know, it was barely a calendar year from him being drafted to him debuting in the majors because they needed him for injury reasons last year. And, you know, this year he comes up and like I said, he's a good base runner. He's a good defensive player, but
Mhm.
it's hard to say how much more improvement he has left now. You know, I don't know if this has seriously harmed him development wise, but it certainly doesn't feel good to come up and just not be a great hitter.
Right.
And you know, it's like if that's part of the like he was obviously a really good prospect. There was talk of the Cubs trading for Whit Merrifield, and a lot of people believed that the Royals wanted a return that centered around Nico Horner, and the Cubs weren't willing to give that up. So at a certain point, you believe that he is your future, and
Yeah.
they've mortgaged that a little bit for not a whole lot of return in the meantime.
Yeah.
You know, like if Nico Horner had developed to his ceiling, his absolute ceiling, which that's obviously you can play that game with any player,
Right.
but if he had developed, even if the Cubs had given him another year in the minors, and
The what?
another year in the minors.
I don't know what those are.
And he develops into a quality starter, 4-win player a year, let's say. You've got him and you've got Ian Happ, and that's already a really, really good start on the position player side.
Yeah.
For 2-3 years to come.
Mm-hmm.
So, given that now it's hard to say what Horner will ever be, if he'll ever be more than what he currently is, I'm comfortable saying that he maybe shouldn't be in the big leagues right now.
That's fair. I think that's a very fair argument.
I don't know. I am going to run to the bathroom really quick, so I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm surprised we're letting Darvish continue to pitch here.
I'm guessing it means they think Hendricks is the game one starter. That's fine.
That might be what it is. It probably is because there's really no need here. Like you don't need to have him.
This game's over.
Yeah, for the most part. You never know. I've seen some weird stuff this year.
You're being nice, and I appreciate that. At the same time,
I'm a Giants fan.
I am not.
Yeah, I mean, Darvish. Why are you sending him more than he really has to be? He's already had a pretty good outing. Like, there's really not much of a need here to let him keep going.
I agree. He's already proven he's playoff ready.
Here's my question to you, though.
Right.
Who are the White Sox throwing out in a 3-game series?
Julio, Keuchel, Dane Dunning, who has made 6 starts in the major leagues and somehow the best option we have.
Fair.
Yeah.
He's been decent this year, hasn't he?
Keuchel's been as good as advertised. Exactly what you expected to get when you signed him. Which has been fantastic.
Best year.
Giolito, and I think the Sox can get through the 3-game series. I do think we have enough to get to that. I looking how this game's playing out, I think they're going to fall all the way to the 7th lead and end up against the Athletics.
Okay, I don't know about that.
The matchup for that is interesting because without Chapman, that's an interesting one. We've found out who the A's are. The A's are a little bit left-handed. They've got some arms, they're left-handed. The Sox do a really good job hitting left-handed pitchers.
I like the A's. I mean,
I don't think they're an easy matchup. I don't want that matchup by any means.
No.
It's interesting now that they don't have Matt Chapman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hole in the middle of that lineup. But if the Sox are showing no capacity to hit the baseball, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
Well, who are the A's running out as starters in a 3-game
That's the thing, too.
That's also
because
a good point.
We had just talked about that. It was no matter who you run out, you're going to run out at least one lefty, probably.
Probably Luzardo.
They're probably going to run out Luzardo, and I think the Sox do a decent job hitting left-handed pitching, and more than decent. They haven't lost against the left-handed starter this year. They're like 14-0 against left-handed starters.
I think it's I remember seeing that stat yesterday.
Especially when it's Luzardo or rookie.
Right, especially when it's a rookie, you can kind of take advantage of.
Do you think they throw out Fires just to kind of combat that?
I don't know.
I don't know
the
rotation. I think I would assume they have more than Fires there.
Right. That's just veteran guy.
They've got Sean Manaea. I think he'll see the mound.
Yeah, I would agree.
I really forgot who they had in that rotation, to be real honest. I remembered Fires because he had a funny beard last year. I revolve half of my fandom around facial hair in baseball.
That's
Good
fair.
way to go.
Let me look at the roster.
I remember Manaea because, Royals traded him to get Zobrist.
While you guys do that, I mean, 7-0, end of the sixth. Darvish is probably done for the night.
Yeah.
White Sox look kind of sad.
He's not over 90 pitches, but I don't know. The Cubs have no reason to stretch him out. So either he goes out in the seventh and there's a short leash, or he's probably done.
Yeah.
They didn't show anyone warming in the Cubs bullpen. Not that anyone needs to. They probably would get someone up about right now.
Yeah.
Also, something to kind of mention here: the Cardinals are doing some cool things pitching wise. Ponce de Leon through 5.
How cool?
Pretty cool. Not excellent.
Okay.
But pretty cool.
Not like super cool, but like cool.
Yeah.
Works for me.
Okay.
Like twice this year, cool.
Yeah, and it's a 7-inning game, so
which is important.
Yeah, so he could certainly finish it out.
Also, what a name, Ponce de Leon.
Yeah, and they are up 9-0 in that game.
Yeah, the Brewers are
not looking great for the Brewers right now.
So they're gonna probably they're splitting the doubleheader today.
And the Brewers still have. Oh, never mind.
Brewers will have 2 games left.
Yeah, I was gonna say I mixed up Eric Lauer and Josh Lindblom. I thought the Brewers still had their starter out after giving up 9 runs. I was kind of amazed, but that is not the case.
Be brutal. Managers should do stuff like that. I think it's just more harm than good.
Yeah. Let's see. We're still on break here. We got one more comment we didn't get to, which was, if you told Cubs fans in 2015 that Jason Hayward was going to be the rock of the lineup in 2020, it wouldn't have seemed weird, but it does now.
Yeah,
it does. I would have hoped in 2015 that he'd be the rock of the lineup all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I like Hayward.
I do too. He showed promise last year too. I think he was in a pretty tough situation last year.
Yeah.
I mean, he, obviously still didn't do well against lefties, which has kind of been especially his thing as a Cub. But they put pressure on him. They tried him out in the leadoff spot when they were struggling for a leadoff hitter, and put him in a lot of places. And really, the focus wasn't on getting him in a comfortable position in the lineup where he would succeed.
Yeah. Because
last season, when he wasn't hitting leadoff against right-handed batters, his WRC plus was like over 130. And it's like if you think about Hayward's offense as a Cub, it's pretty shocking. And so this year they've kept him in kind of a lower pressure situation where it's not. Great play by Tim Anderson there.
Oh yeah.
They've kept him in a lower pressure situation where it's not necessarily about him being the force that's driving the lineup, and kind of as a consequence of that, he has been a force that's driving the lineup. And it's possible that there's something to be said for a managerial change. I don't think a managerial change explains I don't think having Joe Madden as a manager explains just how bad he was on offense.
Right.
But
could it have contributed?
It's interesting. Potentially.
Possibly.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm certainly glad that in the absence of a lot of other offensive production, he has been able to hit pretty well.
Yeah.
And that the Cubs have gotten something out of his deal and him being with the team.
It wasn't for nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, maybe this is a lot of people will say that it just goes down as a bad contract. I think it goes down as a very interesting contract because it's hard to say. He didn't have a bad season under his belt when you signed him.
We've got some controversy.
Yeah, Cubs are not happy about a hit by pitch there.
You know, here's my thing.
Speaking of Gerard Dyson, I forgot he's in the White Sox dugout.
Here's my thing on this. I'm assuming, and they did throw Cordero out, so they're saying it's intentional. Interesting.
Oh, did they?
Interesting. So here's my thing.
What's your thing?
If it was intentional, I don't like it. Because the player you have on your team, the White Sox, is the guy who started the whole, not started, but revived, I guess, the whole
central figure of the current bat flip movement.
Yeah, the bat flip mantra. And Ricky's pissed.
Well, yeah. I mean, so a couple of things. One, that's a fastball. So it's not like you miss with a breaking ball and you're hitting him with some weak pitch. That's a fastball, 97, that hits him.
So if it's intentional, I don't like it.
Yeah, and it also is Contreras who pimped a home run.
Mm-hmm. I don't like it at all, truthfully.
Yeah.
Because, was that Angel Hernandez who did it?
Probably.
Oh, yeah.
No one would be surprised. One of the absolute worst umpires.
It was. He's got the wrist guard on his hand. It was Angel Hernandez.
Gosh,
Angel here's my thing. He's had an at-bat since then.
Yeah.
So it almost makes me feel like it wasn't intentional.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cordero?
I really don't want it to be intentional because of who the White Sox shortstop is.
That's fair.
Because it feels very hypocritical as a franchise. Ricky's still going in.
Yeah, so Rizzo got hit by a pitch in the first. That's the second hit by pitch in this game?
So Rizzo was hit on the back foot on a curveball.
Yeah.
Okay.
That he didn't move out of the way from.
Ricky is hot.
He's upset he's spaghetti.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, so's Don Cooper.
Oh, he's going off.
Did he not get tossed for all that?
Oh, I'm sure he did. Don Cooper might not have.
Oh, yeah.
Don Cooper hasn't gone yet.
This is more important than keeping a mask on. Apparently.
He wears it. It's like half on his face, off his nose. He's funny. He is comical.
Really, I was gonna say, really, they're just trying to buy time for Fry to get warm. Get loose.
So I'm really hoping that's not intentional.
Yeah. Here's my question to you, though, Laz. Is that something out of character for Cordero? Like, is he got good command all the time, or
no? Cordero's a pretty good pitcher. He's been well overused. He's been well overused this season. Renneria, that's the first guy who he goes to, and he's lost his effectiveness because of it. Now, he pitched yesterday. He threw about 30 pitches yesterday.
And they're bringing him out today? That seems...
Yeah.
So I'm inclined... I really want to think it wasn't intentional. Again, because of who the White Sox shortstop is.
Right.
If it's intentional, I got problems with that.
Yeah. Christian says, I don't think I've ever seen the umpires come together and eject someone after the warning was given.
Was the warning given earlier? I didn't know that. When was the warning given?
I think it was that same series, I believe. I could be wrong.
Did he hit him, give him the warning, and then decided to eject him?
I think so.
That's a good
question. That's absurd.
Yeah, that's not good.
I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what I saw happen.
Because Angel Hernandez is not the home plate umpire.
Angel Hernandez is also barely an umpire.
we would know if Angel Hernandez was the home plate umpire.
Yeah.
Warning given after that hit by pitch, and then they came together and ejected him. That's pretty brutal.
That feels bad.
Because that was you can't say that wasn't a bad miss. That was a bad miss, but
yeah,
Christian's got a good point. I don't know about giving a warning and then convening his umpires and saying, you know what, you're gone.
You're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's definitely something I haven't seen before. That little bit of what just happened. But alas, gotta move on. Jace Fry now in the game pitching for the White Sox. How's oh they're gonna replay some of this. Oh, they're replaying the bat flip at least on this when I'm watching here. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, the miss is the back right in the middle of the numbers looks like.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's certainly not a great look that you miss that badly. You throw
I
a
agree.
fastball and you hit Contreras, but it's tough to say that you shouldn't give more than a warning there.
Right.
I just
You know, it's stupid to hit him.
I
but,
agree. I really don't want it to be intentional.
Yeah.
That was his first batter too, right?
Second batter.
Second batter. First batter was an out somehow, but he was 4 pitches into his outing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they brought him in to say, "Hey, do whatever you want," and then
So
just
right.
You know,
So
was that the first pitch
pressers.
of the plate appearance?
that's
I
a
think
great
so.
question. Let me look at it. Load AB matchup Cordero versus Contreras. No, it was the second.
Okay.
First one was a ball.
Because-
First one was a ball inside though.
Okay.
Fastball?
Checking now.
Because if you come out and you're
Sequence.
immediately, if you come out and you're immediately chucking heat at his, pretty much behind him.
Also, there are no longer cool things happening in St. Louis.
That's a shame.
Games end 9-1.
Solid contact by Hayward.
It's
Caught at the track.
yeah.
Contreras was tagged.
Contreras
Able to tag
tags.
though. Yeah,
Contreras he's fired up.
he is.
I wonder. I'd
Oh,
pay a
solo
lot of
home
money
run.
to see what
Yeah,
the
no one-
conversation between Contreras and Anderson is right now.
Oh, yeah.
Orlando Arcia has been the spoiler in 2 no-hitters this year.
Yeah.
If nobody else gets a hit for Milwaukee, he will have been the only spoiler in 2 no-hitters this season. He, in
What a guy.
Kyle Hendricks' first outing of the year that I mentioned earlier, the entire Brewers lineup was 0 for 27, except for Orlando Arcia, who was 3 for 3.
I kind of love that.
And now Arcia has a solo home run that is the only hit off of Daniel Ponce de Leon so far.
That's a shame.
I think when I eventually pick up a Cardinals jersey, I think I have to get a Ponce de Leon just because it's fun.
All right. Well, I'm seeing the news that the Marlins are a postseason team.
That's
Really?
honestly,
Oh, dear
I love
God,
that. For
this team.
the Marlins clinching a postseason spot, beating the Yankees 4-3 in extras on
This is
anniversary.
disgusting.
Well,
Oof.
oh boy, that's what you.
That's
I mean,
odd.
you're going to see the ending of it, but this is disgusting baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty disappointed in this effort today.
Anyway.
Yeah. They
It's
handed Baez a base and he handed it right back. But man,
Mhm.
yeah,
He got the run in.
That's a tough look. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the Marlins because I there's just several things that goes into me evaluating them, but they're a playoff team, which means they're a little above 500, and their run differential is somewhere around -20.
No, the Marlins. I mean, I like the story.
Sure.
It's fun to have a few. If you're going to put in 8 teams, it's fun to have a few ones like that.
Like the
I mean,
Giants.
if we're talking story, don't give me the Marlins as a first round matchup for the Cubs.
You want the Giants? If they make it?
I would take the Giants, sure.
Okay.
The Marlins came into tonight with a -39 run differential.
Yikes.
That's
That's
insane.
brutal.
And,
But I mean, how much of that
you
is
can-
that
I was
29-9
gonna say,
loss?
you can
That's
attribute 20 runs of that to a 29-9 loss to the Braves, which was pretty insane. But
Didn't they have another game like that not too long after, where it was a pretty big?
they've had to have had at least a couple of big losses to have a winning record with a -39 run differential.
That's fair.
But their expected record based on their run differential is 25-33. and that would have them behind the Mets and pretty much even with the Rockies.
What's their record now? Is it 30-28?
30-28, I believe, before today. So they are now, or no, they have 2 games left.
So 30-28.
So
now.
they are 30-28. So their negative 39 run differential is after tonight's win.
That's rough.
Yeah.
But hey, they beat the Yankees, and who doesn't love to see that?
Yeah.
Yankees
True.
fans. That's the answer to that question.
But I mean, you want to just talk straight up runs scored. Marlins are 19th in baseball, and you want to talk straight up runs allowed.
Are they first?
Marlins have allowed 8th most runs in baseball.
Dang. That's fun.
They have the 8th most runs allowed. They have... Wait, where are they? The 11th most earned runs allowed. So not a huge discrepancy there, but
No, but some fun times.
you know, their pitching staff has 9th highest ERA in baseball,
That's brutal.
and you know that's not what you love coming into a 3-game series.
Not exactly, but I mean, either way,
Solid
I like the
contact.
Marlins.
Yeah.
Nice ball by Happ.
It's fun.
It'll be interesting. So where are they currently? Because how many National League teams have clinched? It's really just the 3
5.
division teams, the Padres. So
Mhm.
they're the 5th team.
Yeah.
So they have a chance to even be the 5th seed, which would give them the Padres as a matchup. I mean, you could almost argue that being the 5th seed, getting the 5th seed over the 6th or 7th is a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Because the Padres are coming in red hot in the entire second half of the season, and that's with Tatis not being what he was to start.
The Padres are down right now. I just want to mention that. They're down 1-0 to the Giants in the second game of the doubleheader. Second inning.
Giants
third
finished
now.
Giants finished off that first game. Yeah, they did.
They did. They're heading to bottom of the second. They're pitching Samardzija this game, who hasn't pitched in a while. He's been hurt most of the year.
And the Giants got a run off Lamet.
They did.
Not bad.
Now let's just hope Samardzija doesn't blow it.
Yeah.
I mean, because like it's looking like in the NL wildcard race, 500 is the percentage you want.
That's the standard. Yeah.
And they're at 29-28 right now. After the first game.
Yeah, if the Giants can sweep this doubleheader tonight, I think that makes them real good looking.
It's
to get in.
huge.
Yeah.
Especially after Milwaukee and St. Louis winning that doubleheader today.
Yeah.
And Philly losing too. So we'll see. And Darvish is still pitching. I didn't really notice that.
I was just going to say that. I'm guessing that
not-
means Hendricks is game 1.
I'm not too surprised. He just threw his 91st pitch. I mean,
But like, there's no need.
not like they're running him up.
They're not running him up, but like they could. I mean, I guess you're not really doing much of saving his arm or anything, but like,
Yeah. I mean, if he had only thrown like 60, I would have said, all right, I would feel comfortable bringing him back game 1. I think this just kind of solidifies, the conversation we had earlier. It's probably going to Hendricks.
yeah,
Oh,
which isn't
I
a bad pick.
I don't think so. Game
No?
1 is 5 days away. It's a regular interval before game 1 for Darvish. It's
no,
Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday?
It's Wednesday, August 30th. I think it's Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, that's 5 days. He's right.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Oh! No, it's got to
Yeah.
be Tuesday.
Laz just wants to know.
I just need it.
The AL wildcard series starts on Tuesday. The NL wildcard series
Oh.
on Wednesday.
That's the one you care about, Laz.
Well, that would make sense.
Yeah. So you did remember correctly, but just the wrong league. So
Wrong
yeah,
league.
I think
So
I
he's
mean, I
lined up
think
to go game 1.
this-
So he's going game 1.
I I think so. I mean, I think this
Likely.
is, as much as anything, we're just keeping him on a regular schedule,
Yeah.
keeping him rolling, because that's what he's doing. He's rolling.
It's fair. Here's a question I kind of want to bring up.
The Cubs,
it has
one thing, well, Hendricks just pitched pretty recently, but the Cubs don't have Hendricks lined up for this weekend.
Do they not?
No, he pitched 2 days ago.
Interesting. Do you think they just don't pitch him in the next couple of days if they don't need to?
Oh, he's not. He's done for the regular season for sure.
Oh, is he?
He's
Well, I guess
done.
2 days ago. Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, I don't know if that complicates things for game one. I mean, you could just as easily throw Hendricks in game one, give Darvish one extra day.
Yeah. It's a matter of, do you want to do that, though? Do you want him to just keep rolling, like you said? Do you want that extra day of rest? Like,
yeah,
what does that look like?
Yeah, because I mean, it looks fairly likely that if the Cubs can win that wild card series, they come into the NLDS against either the Braves or a division rival.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Make things interesting. That's for sure.
Diego, you were going to ask a question?
Yeah, it had nothing to do with this game. Who do you guys think ends up making it to the World Series based off what's going on right now?
Good question. That's a really good question.
Especially with the NL not entirely decided yet. The AL's pretty locked up, but
Yeah.
You're really gonna make us choose?
I mean, just curious.
You know, I'm really buying in on the Indians, honestly.
All right, yeah, the pitching staff's lethal.
If I had to buy in on one team, it's going to be the Indians, and the reason being, I was just maybe it's some recency bias to it. I was just so absolutely impressed with their pitching staff, just the sequencing, and not only just the pitches themselves, but the sequencing and how they attacked hitters. And yeah, sure, it's easy to attack a team that's slumping, but those are some really, really good pitchers. And I think their lineup is dangerous enough to make a solid run.
Score enough runs to get through.
Right. I think if they can knock out, there's going to be some of your big boppers knocked out in the first round.
Yeah, it's bound to happen.
And I think if they can get through that first round, they're going to be a really tough team to beat.
I agree.
I would agree. I think the Rays look really good, but I have a hard. So currently, it looks so the Yankees cannot be in the top 3 seeds because the Rays are, and it looks like the Yankees are either going to be a 4 or 5 seed, which means if they both make it out of the wild card series, again, no guarantee, that's an ALDS matchup. And
that'd be a fun ALDS matchup.
I just have a really hard time looking at the Yankees team and not seeing it as at least an ALCS contender.
Yeah.
That's fair.
No, that's fair.
So,
it's totally fair.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees come out and make it to the World Series out of the AL. And it's a team other than the Dodgers from the National League.
That's fair. I think
at the same time the Dodgers could just roll in the postseason. It's they have as good a chance as anyone.
Real possibility.
I think a formative question for me, a really foundational question to how the National League turns out in the postseason is, do the make it out of the wild card series?
That's a very good question too.
That's going to depend a lot on Fried's status.
Yep.
Fried hasn't been healthy. He was pulled from his last start after missing a couple starts.
Yeah.
And that team doesn't feel as dangerous to me if you don't have Max Fried leading that rotation.
Because who does that leave? That leaves a rookie Ian Anderson as their best starter. Losing Mike Soroka for the year was an absolute
blow.
I mean, this currently MLB.com, the mock bracket they have up shows the Braves and the Reds. And
Reds the 7th seed right now.
Yeah, it's hard to see the Braves overcoming that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have incredible. I mean, they took a gamble on Marcell Ozuna, and it's paid off big time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it's hard for me to see the Braves beating the Reds. because the Reds, the offense hasn't been there, but
That's a good point.
you don't need a stellar offense against the
Right.
Braves pitching staff.
Totally good point.
In a 3-game series, the Reds are dangerous for sure. And I just think, depending on how the NL seeding shakes out, there's going to be some incredible, I think, even wildcard matchups
Yeah.
that can really go either way. And I said this earlier. I don't remember with who I said it to, but I honestly think if the Giants and Dodgers match up first round, I think the Giants have a real good chance of upsetting the Dodgers. It's always a close game. They've seen them like this, even this season alone. I think they got 4 wins off them this year. Like the opening series, very beginning of the year, they split 2-2.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's. I have a hard time giving any guesses as to what's going to happen in a 3-game series because obviously we don't know. Like a 3-game series in baseball is just a huge toss-up. That's been established.
Absolutely.
It's hard to say for sure whether that's changed by the postseason at all.
Right.
But you kind of have to lean no. I mean, there's certainly ALDS series in recent memories that have not gone the way of the better team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everyone's favorite example of a playoff team that was probably not the best team there was the 2014 Royals, who just swept their way straight into the World Series.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen. It's about who gets hot.
Yeah.
I think
which sorry, go ahead, Diego.
No, anyone can do it this year, and I think that's the fun of it.
Yeah.
And to add on to that, who's getting hot right now? The Cleveland Indians.
That's also true.
Exactly.
They were down. I mean, they were down 3-1 going into the 9th today, and won 4-3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they beat the Pirates.
They beat the Pirates, coming back from it. I don't like that team at all heading into the playoffs. I would not want to draw that matchup.
Yeah.
But also kind of going what Ryan's like. Ryan likes the Yankees. They're also pretty hot right now.
Yeah. You off? Go ahead.
Yeah, I know.
That magnifies this series we're watching here because both of these teams are just coming into this super down.
Yeah, it really does.
It's been nothing coming from. The White Sox have kept the games close. The Cubs have kind of kept the games close, but offenses have just looked anemic.
Yeah. Cubs not tonight, certainly.
There were a couple times in Cleveland where it's just like you needed to get that win. Like, you just needed to get off the schneid and keep going.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
After a couple demoralizing losses, like what was it? Was it 3 straight? It was 2. It was 3 straight walk-offs. No, I don't even remember. They all blended in. At least twice the Indians walked off this weekend. So after those games, compiled with an absolute stinker today, it's like this is a team that can't catch a break right now.
Right.
Yeah, that's a shot.
It hurts.
It's going to be, it'll just feel good if the White Sox could take a game out of the series.
They need a game out of it. They need to just.
At least
they've got John Lester, and I don't even know who the Cubs are going to throw on Sunday to do it.
I think it's Azalea, is what I heard.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Which will be interesting. That's a fun arm I like to see.
Yeah, I'd agree. I don't mind seeing him getting another start. That probably does play into you're talking about what they're going to do game 2 versus game 3. Mm-hmm. If they've got Hendricks and Darvish that are just more rested than most of the pitching staff, it makes as much sense as anything to throw that game 2 and game 3 or game 1, game 2, excuse me. Because if you're talking about you've got a game that's an unknown, I would say Alzolay is an important piece of that. And so if they're throwing him on Sunday, they're going to want him to be more rested.
That's fair.
Makes total sense. I think it is only the top of the 8th. I feel like I've been here all night.
At least 3 hours.
I'm frustrated because I don't even get to see Garrett Crochet tonight.
I know. That's what I was hoping for, too. I wanted Crochet.
Yeah.
I love watching him pitch.
They moved him into a more solidified,
setup,
higher leverage role over the weekend.
Okay.
I was like,
I've seen Hewer, his name thrown around a couple times. I haven't seen him pitch at all.
He pitched. Well, the problem was he pitched 3 straight days in Cleveland.
In Cleveland, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a fun arm. I'd like him to be the closer next year.
Not
I don't
Bishop?
think
Do you think they bring Colomay back?
not if it costs them 10 to 12 million to do so.
What would you sign him for?
I'd give him
7, 8,
2 years, 14, 15 million.
7.5 a
Nice.
year.
I say I'll give you the insurance of 2 seasons, but I'm not going to pay you as much to do so.
I mean, if I'm Colomay, I'd love to stay with the White Sox.
Yeah,
I would too. They're a fun
I don't
team.
think he's going to get true closer money for anybody.
No.
Yeah.
But
Except-
because these are teams that is especially analytically inclined teams, which is assumedly most everybody at this point, but not necessarily.
Yeah.
Um,
Some more than others, for sure.
some more than others. So it's like if you want to pitch for a good team, they're likely highly analytical, so they're likely not going to take a chance on you. But the Sox have so many good young arms. Yeah, this was it's do or die at that point.
Good backup there, though.
Yeah. Does Anderson typically make that play?
I would have preferred Anderson making that.
Yeah.
This is Moncada, but it's a good attempt either way.
Do you think Anderson would have made it?
No, I think he's probably safe. Truthfully,
Fair.
that was fun.
Yeah, that's a tough.
Yeah.
And we established earlier Horner's the fastest runner on the Cubs. So
Right.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
These broadcasts coming full circle.
Yeah, who would have thought?
It's like we talk about things that matter or something.
Yeah, there you
Do we?
go. Do we really though? But in terms of Colomay, and then Sox have a lot of good young arms that I think are back of the rotation arms. That if you're not going to spend a lot of money, which the Sox historically do not,
Develop.
Yeah.
just develop other arms and use limited funds to sign bigger free agents. Like there are bigger needs right now for this team. A right fielder, some starting pitching, being 2 of them versus Alex Colomay. So if I have to save $8 million by going elsewhere, if we're pinching pennies like that after the season this team's had, plus, coronavirus and all the pandemic, if you're going to pinch pennies, I don't like it, but I'm not going to spend valuable money on a closer at this point.
Here's an interesting thought for you, kind of based on kind of what's happened tonight in this game. What do you think, if it's even a possibility, with the stuff Cease has, moving him to the bullpen in a possible closer role? Because he's definitely got the stuff, and if he doesn't have to focus on the full game, imagine him only focusing on an inning, maybe 2.
Yeah,
I think that could be beneficial to him.
I do. I think because I feel his problems are twofold. It's his fastball spin and his location.
Right.
I would like to see if he comes out throwing a fastball that actually has. Hold on, I'm getting distracted. Oh, that's a great catch. That actually has.
Great catch incoming.
This team.
Something bad immediately following.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, yeah, Robert's really making. He covered a lot of ground there.
Yeah.
And then.
Oh, there goes the baseball.
Oh,
Yep. That's brutal.
That's
That's really bad.
It's a good play by
That's
Robert.
really tough.
That's really bad. This is really bad baseball.
I'm not sure why Caratini is tagging on a ball hit so shallow.
I don't know either.
It worked.
He was beat by a mile.
Doesn't
I
Roberts have a
can't
good
even
arm?
speak. I can't even speak for Robert's arm, but he interesting. I guess he kind of had to make that throw on the run, but he didn't put much on it.
No.
Well, for how he was set up to make the throw, he put quite a bit on it. But
No, I get what you're saying. But with Cease, if he comes in and now his fastball is a high spin pitch, and then he's still not locating, then yeah.
Okay.
Then you got to try him in the bullpen.
Just an
I
interesting
personally think it's a thought that a lot of Sox fans have talked about. It's definitely not something that hasn't been talked about.
Okay.
I don't even know who's batting right now.
I think they're going to look
Patrick Wisdom.
at.
Oh, they just recalled him today.
It's a hell of a name.
It is.
I think
So
the route the Sox might choose with Cease is to dangle him in a trade this offseason.
That's fair.
that would make
I would be surprised if the Sox had Cease on roster next year.
Okay.
5 years of team control with that stuff. Someone's got to bite.
I'd love to see. Oh, you know who I would love to see take him?
The Rays.
The Rays.
The Rays are
Oh,
going to.
I bet they would.
The Rays
He'll
will turn him
he'll
into an
win a
ace.
Cy Young.
Absolutely.
Any team will take a look at him and say, "I know how to fix that. I'll give you something good."
Yeah.
I think the Rays are just willing to do it.
Yeah, I think they'll be like, "All right, we'll give you players of value that you're looking for." Maybe
If I
they'll try and
recall.
pawn it off as if the Sox can go into negotiations and say, "Here's the pure stuff. You're paying for the pure stuff." I think a bunch of teams will bite.
And I think,
No,
don't the Rays
I mean-
have outfielders?
Yeah,
They have plenty of outfielders.
There you go.
I don't know if they have any. I mean, they're obviously not going to trade. What's his face? Austin Meadows. They're not going to
Okay.
trade him. But and they're probably not going to trade Randy Arozarena either.
right. I don't personally enjoy either of those two options. I feel like Cease has the ability to become so dominant that I'm like, I'd want a pretty decently proven right now.
Christian said Caratini tagging on that play is raising his X grit plus.
I'm just
Analytics.
You know who else? You know, if Cease gets dangled, which is the technical term for the record, the Royals would probably be interested in that
Yeah.
for sure.
yeah.
I mean, that's all they've targeted in all their trades. They say, give us major league ready talent.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know who they'd give up for that. I mean, what? I don't know that, especially
it's just
outfield wise. I don't know that there's a player that the White Sox look at and say, I mean,
that doesn't
you
match
start,
up well.
Could you start a deal around Whit Merrifield and Dylan Cease?
How much control does Merrifield have left on?
2 years.
I thought he had 3.
See, that
At
could be
least 2.
interesting.
At least 2 years, and it's like $4 million a year.
That could be really interesting.
Definitely
And
possible.
There's your
He's having a better. I mean, it looked like last year he was on his way down. He's having a better year.
I like Merrifield a lot. I think
That'd be really ironic if Cubs fans thought they were going to get Merrifield for the longest time, and he goes to the
Yeah.
White Sox.
I think that's an interesting. That's an interesting scenario.
Okay,
Yeah.
I lied. He's not really having a better year, but he's pretty much on par with.
That's
what he was.
That's not bad at all.
I
Nothing
mean,
to shake your head at.
yeah, it's 7.
I'm looking
His
at him right
OPS
now.
starts with 7, which is not super promising.
That's fair.
But I mean, he's also kind of super utility-ish. He can certainly play right field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's an interesting one to me.
He
There's
would.
A lot.
It would take more. than
I would agree. It
Merrifield.
takes more.
way more
Mhm.
to get.
But
to
if-
Cease.
If you're gonna start with Merrifield, I don't think I hang up the phone. I'm like, all right, what else you got? But that kind of solves my right fielder issue a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe it takes a pitcher going the other way too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. Maybe not a Josh Stomont. I don't think he's
Certainly not.
in the deal. And honestly, if the Royals also don't want to dip into their 2018 draft, then the pitching options for a trade really thin out after that. Because after this last trade deadline, I think Greg Holland is probably not something that the Royals are going to get trade returned for.
Right.
I don't know. Let me look and see who else they have, because I kind of like this hypothetical trade now.
It's a really interesting idea, and I just
Yeah.
kind of brought up the idea because I think Cease has a lot of potential. I really liked the movement I saw. Granted, I mean the start itself wasn't fantastic, but it
Mhm.
certainly sounds like an improvement from his last time out.
Right.
I don't watch enough White Sox baseball. I just follow Laz on Twitter. So
My sincere apologies.
What do you think of Jake Junis, Les?
Junis?
They've got him in the bullpen now.
Yeah, I was gonna say. See, that's the thing.
In the bullpen.
It's like you the problem with Cease is that you can't just sell on potential. Because he's not like a prospect in the sense you can sell him on potential. Where
right.
he has major league results. He has major league results.
95% of the way there.
Yeah.
Right. He has major league results under his belt, and they haven't been fantastic. So that's going to decrease the value. It's going to decrease the value. The pure stuff increases the value. The years of control increases the value.
It's like a net +1.
Right. It's like the biggest detractor for teams, and I think the reason why I'd almost prefer to see him next year is because teams are going to be able to counter with, well, look at his numbers so far.
Mm-hmm.
How am I supposed to believe he's ever going to harness his pure stuff? Whether or not they believe that's one thing, but it's negotiation 101 at this point.
Absolutely.
So I honestly, like, what is my value? Oh, geez. Magical this team is pissed off.
Is he going to take one to the back?
No.
Is he going to take a rough swing?
He's going to miss a hittable pitch and then absolutely slam. This team's pissed off.
That's a spike that belongs on Sundays.
I didn't know Madrigal was strong enough to do that, to break his bat doing that.
You know, here's the thing.
He's breaking
a couple balls to the gap. I'm like, did I just watch Madrigal hit? He's like flying out a couple steps from the warning.
I'm pretty sure the bat broke on that slam.
This team is just really
it didn't. Never mind.
Oh, Ryan, I'm excited. That'd be impressive, though.
Again, we need Batcast.
I know. We got to start getting some Batcast up in here.
Batcast has been fantastic today.
It has.
Ronald Guzman has just kept the Angels season alive. Did he walk the Astros off?
I hope so.
I thought Ronald Guzman was on the Rangers.
Yeah. So the Rangers are playing the Astros.
Oh, the Rangers are playing the Astros.
He looks like homered to tie it. Astros had a 96% win probability, and Ronald
tied
Guzman
at 3
to tie it off of Ryan Presley, no less.
Nice.
Angels up 4-2 over the Dodgers.
You love to see it.
Angels are breathing. They're still alive.
They're on life support, but alive.
Dan Winkler looked pretty good in that outing, which
He
is
did.
Nice to see.
Against the struggling White Sox
it's,
team here.
It's always nice to get a good inning out of not Jeremy Jeffress this year.
I think the bullpens. This is going to kind of circle back around to this playoff talk, but these bullpens are going to be so important.
Yeah, so I've been thinking about writing about the Cubs bullpen, right? Because, Cubs, everyone has loved to talk about that the Cubs bullpen was bad, really bad. And come into September, and as recently as a few days ago, I haven't seen since then, they had, for the month of September, the best bullpen ERA in baseball.
Really?
Yeah. And
I would not have guessed that.
Yeah, right? And so it's like, is it fixed? Well, a good chunk of that, and a good chunk of an article that I would and maybe still will write, we'll see, is, the primary suspect who you thought could get better and probably needed to get better for the Cubs bullpen to really come back, and that is Craig Kimbrell.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
He's rocking his highest walk rates of his career pretty comfortably. But he's also brought his strikeout numbers up. His strikeout rate is 8% higher than last year. His home run rate is down. I mean, his home run rate last year, he gave up almost 4 home runs per 9 innings.
Mm-hmm.
That's just at a certain point, that's bad luck. But,
Yeah.
He is, obviously not, I'm talking earlier about Chris Bryant in 2020 looking like Chris Bryant that we thought we knew before. Craig Kimbrell is obviously not Craig Kimbrell, but he's been reliable. He had a couple of really bad outings in Cincinnati, and outside of that, he's looked pretty darn good.
Oh my God, who just homered?
Well, someone's about to homer.
I quit on that.
Is it
Oh my
Contreras?
God, Yomer Sanchez is pitching. It's
Oh,
wait,
Contreras
really?
again.
Yeah, Contreras homered again off Yolmer Sanchez.
Is it okay?
Position
All
player
right.
pitching.
You know what?
Player pitching.
This
Where's
makes it
Opposite
all
field.
better.
Again.
Also, when did Yomer Sanchez go to the back to the White Sox?
Recently.
Because he was a Giant at the beginning of the year.
This is
Position player pitching.
Cubs
this
don't even have 10 hits in this game.
this
Well,
made this
I'm
worth
sorry.
it. This has made it worth it.
Position player pitching.
Yes. If I'm not going to get to see Crochet, I can at least see a position player pitching. I'm okay with this enough.
Well, if you're going to hear some other news from around the league, Tatis just did an absolute moonshot off Jeff Samardzija in the bottom of the third inning to take a 3-1 lead over the Giants.
Check the 110.9 exit velocity on that one. 31-degree launch angle. It's hard to hit a ball better than that.
How far to
It's
go?
real.
Projected.
458 is the estimated distance.
It was a moonshot. Makes me sad.
Is that a 3-run? Yeah, 3-run. Or a 2-run. They already had a
2-run.
run in.
They had a run.
2-run homer. 980 XBA.
Yomer, you gotta. Oh, this is.
In what scenario 2% of the time is that not a hit? I'd love
I
to
don't know. Boston maybe.
Yolmer's hardly giving him a wind-up.
He's just even. This is just so sad.
A 31-degree launch angle in Boston? I mean, even then you're hitting the monster, and that's probably a hit.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. Yomer's gotten out.
What did the Cubs throw out for the 9th?
Baez is batting left-handed.
Is he really?
Absolutely no one gives a shit about this ball game.
I wanted to go yard.
Wait. Sorry. He needs to figure out how to hit right-handed this season first.
Can you go yard real quick? Gosh, I love this.
What, dude?
Man, he takes big swings from the left side.
Oh yeah.
He takes big swings from the right side too.
When I
But
played,
he doesn't know how to follow through on the left side, so it just looks absolutely ridiculous.
oh man, I love a good position player pitching.
He's got to. I'll let you see it before I say anything.
Is it going to be a double?
Sounded like he was about to say double.
I also think he was about to say double.
Javier Baez switch hitter. Yes.
Double.
Double to the gap.
Let's go. Oh, he's quicker. I bet he could have done that as triple. He's quicker out of the box as a left-handed hitter. He's closer to first.
I'm straight up not having a good time.
I am.
Sorry, Les.
I just think it's fun watching position players pitch, regardless. I mean, no, yeah. Even when the Giants are down big, it used to be Sandoval, and that was fun. Pablo's now in Atlanta. Pablo in Atlanta makes me sad.
Rizzo looked so happy after Baez hit that. Oh my goodness. Man, so
Do you think Hamilton actually gets a hit here?
What is this team doing?
Which one?
Okay, maybe.
Both of them. You're going to see Baez. This is funny.
Oh, Baez is just being dumb. Oh, wow.
Well,
Wait, what?
Sanchez almost dropped it.
Yeah.
And then Baez kind of was like, I don't really
Baez
care.
doesn't care.
Yeah, he's like, I don't really care.
He does not care.
I appreciate that. I did not want to see another Yomer Sanchez pitching.
Hey, Yomer Sanchez only gave up one run. pretty good.
True. Something to be said for that.
If you ever need a position player pitching in the playoffs, Laz, Sanchez might be your guy.
I don't think that's an if that he wants to consider.
Well, either up. They could be up big.
The Astros have played it a run in the top of the 10th. They're back on top of the Rangers.
Boo.
So, yeah, the Astros have a 96% win probability. That Ronald Guzman home run actually dipped the win probability slightly in the Rangers' favor. He is currently the WPA leader of this game with 41.6 win probability added on the whole game, which likely means that he had even more than that in that.
He was doing some other things.
Run. Yeah, probably did some things that took away a little bit of win probability, but it looks like the Astros had a ground out that advanced the runner to third, sac fly that scored the runner, single, and a pop out. So top of the inning's over. We are moving into the bottom of the inning, and the Rangers have the top of their order, which is Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Willie Calhoun, and Nick Solak. And
Willie Calhoun.
If they get one of those, if one of those guys does not get out, that brings up Joey Gallo, who has not been great this year, but is ever dangerous.
It is Joey Gallo. That is a strong man.
Yeah.
Andrew Chafin's a Cub.
Yeah, Andrew Chafin's the Cub. They traded for him at the deadline because they had no lefty relievers.
I didn't know Andrew Chafin was still playing.
I didn't know of him until he was a Cub, honestly.
He's got a killer mustache.
I can't wait until I catch up and see it.
Oh, am I ahead of you too?
You must be. Man, Darvish only had 5 strikeouts. That's kind of, that's kind of a little bit of an oddity.
Sad Laz is sad.
This was not
It's
fun.
brutal.
I mean, our conversations were good. I have not had legitimate conversations.
Laz won't be back on a hot mic stream anytime soon.
No. This is...
Catch him in the playoffs.
You guys do an excellent job with these, and I have tuned in before, and I am now 0 for 2 when doing live streams of baseball games. This is my first for Diamond Digest. I did one for my other site, and I'm 0 2.
35th, right?
Yep, Sox on 35th was the other one. And that was the Sunday night baseball game. The Sox lost in extras. And now I'm watching whatever this is. This was not...
This could be classified as baseball. To some.
Sure. This was fun. We had really good conversation.
Baseball.
Yeah.
We had very good conversation today, and I enjoyed, like I said, with the whole quarantine and not seeing anyone, not going out for drinks with people, and you can't do that normal stuff. Getting to have quality baseball conversation during a game has been far and few between. So
yeah,
I agree. Even honestly, committing myself to just sitting down and watching a full game.
Right.
It's easy sitting in front of my computer to get watching all kinds of different stuff and get distracted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice actually sitting down, actually watching baseball. No one in my life likes baseball as much as I do.
Yep.
In my life regularly.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't. One of my roommates said, "I will never sit down and watch a baseball game with you." I'm like, well, that feels good.
Yeah.
So.
This is
that's why we're here. We found someone who will.
Exactly.
We found 2 people.
Yep.
That will.
Baseball always
So
good.
let's see. So Rangers Astros, we've got Kiner-Falefa's at bat is still going.
Yeah,
The Astros have Enoli Paredes on the mound.
Paredes
has a 2.66 ERA.
I was going to say, not knowing the name means absolutely nothing when it's the Astros.
Yeah, I was going to say, they've thrown so many rookie relievers out of their bullpen this year. He's evidently one of them. Looks like a 3-1 count so far. Got it
know
to 3-0 and just threw a fastball kind of right near the middle of this zone.
Nice. Another fun game kind of going on right now is Cincinnati, Minnesota. Cincinnati up 4-2. Bottom of the eighth, 2 outs, 2 on. They've got Gonzalez up the plate.
That's
Well,
go ahead, runner at the plate then.
we've got now 2 outs in the inning, and if you're a Cubs fan watching this or a fan of any other team besides the White Sox, you probably enjoyed today.
Position player pitching.
That was the only entertaining thing about this game for me, and it almost makes this entire insufferable experience.
Hey, Cease improved from his last start.
Cease did get better. Cease looked better. I was happy with that. It became the issues that you knew you were going to have, is that flatter, straighter fastballs are going to get hit hard. And I'd rather see those issues than the command issues where you're walking 7 in a game. I'm not upset about the Cease result so much as just the utter lack of any real effort on the offensive side of the game. It was not good all game. Man, sticks the slump they're in.
The White Sox put some good swings on Darvish.
Yeah, there were some good swings, but
not good enough.
Yeah,
there were. They hit 10 balls off Darvish that were harder than 97 miles per hour.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
So, it's good to see that, but also feels
like I was saying, it's also kind of, a little bit at least worth noting that Darvish wasn't dominant strikeout wise. Like,
no,
the White Sox worked at bats, and there's something to be said for that.
Right. I agree. But overall, it was a pretty lackadaisical effort on both sides of the ball.
But
big word.
End of the day, you see a 0 on the scoreboard.
Doesn't make you feel good.
Yeah.
So, as they're down to their final strike, I'll start the wrap up here because there's nothing we're waiting for here. But we do appreciate everyone who joined in. I'm obviously in a less than stellar mood. But any baseball fan can understand what it's like to have to sit through a 3-hour game. Other team loses. But then try and do it on the air and talk about it as if it's not happening for 3 consecutive hours. I'm tired. But now, seriously, though, Ryan, Diego, thanks for joining in on this. Abreu is about to ground out for the final out. And that's going to do it for us here. But, again, follow us at diamond-digest.com, diamond_digest on Twitter. Make sure to follow us. We'll be putting out our weekly podcast right before the playoffs start again this Monday. And with all the playoffs coming up, Ryan's talked about it. There's plenty of articles, plenty to read going on.
Lots of baseball. About to get fun.
Lots of baseball still to be had, and there's plenty of people covering it in some pretty awesome ways on our site. So make sure to check it out. Make sure to follow us on Twitter if you're not already doing so. But more than anything else, thank you for watching. And for Ryan Rudy and Diego Franco Carreno and our technical man who isn't on the broadcast, but Peyton Ellison for helping us actually get out here and
saved the broadcast.
He did save the broadcast.
Yeah.
Some might argue we might not have needed one. But hey.
This broadcast is brought to you by Peyton Ellison.
Oh no. Who would argue that?
Yeah, who would ever argue that the Cubs 10-0 loss shouldn't have been, or 10-0 win over the Sox shouldn't have been broadcast?
My only advice to you, lads, is stay off Twitter.
Yeah, everyone, I'm just logging off Twitter for the night. This is kind of the end.
Google some cat pictures for your own.
Yeah.
Google some cat pictures if you're a Sox fan. I promise you won't find anything better on Twitter tonight, most likely. So.
That's a good point.
But again, thanks again for joining in. Be kind, please. I've said this before, but be kind to people. But more importantly, if your team's in the playoffs or if you're just a big baseball fan, enjoy these playoffs coming up. It's a new structure, it's a new format, and that means more baseball to watch, more fun to be had. So,
go baseball.
Go baseball.
Go baseball.
Thanks for joining in, everyone, and we'll talk.